What is up, everyone? It is Call. I am Bald, and you're watching Talking Ball. It is very nice to have you here today, this holy day before tomorrow, the most holy of days. One more sleep until the North London Derby. How's everybody doing? Good to have you guys here. If you are tuning in, of course, as always, thank you so much. Truly appreciate it. Really can't tell you how much I appreciate it. And if you're watching this back on repeat, God, I appreciate that a lot too. My one thing today I got to say is sorry about the baldness. Couldn't find a cap in time for the show. So here, let's just, let's move past that. Let's get into some soccer stuff. Matches on today, and we'll talk about those a bit. But most importantly is the match that we've got coming up tomorrow. I'm trying to get everybody fired up for the North London Derby, baby. This is going to be one of the first times Spurs going to win over at the Emirates. I could feel it. And I also wanted to add into the comments here the link, just in case anybody wants to join in. Hope you guys all saw the thumbnail. I think very much like Gladiator, Postecoglou is going to have all of us entertained tomorrow for the match. We've already got some comments coming in. Adrian Soroka, that was here earlier. He said, "Good afternoon, all." Good afternoon, Adrian. Hopefully you make your way back over here, and we can have you on the show, bud. It'd be good to talk to you today. And then we got Donna Sievers saying, "Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday to you. Hope you are good. Hope everything is good over in your hood." You got any bets going on games today? Let us know. Let us know if you've won anything. Hey, Logan Owen. Hey, hi. How are you, sir? It's good to have you here. Thanks for being along for the ride. We're talking Tottenham Hotspur and all things Tottenham Hotspur. So it's very good to have you here. So yeah, I mean, there's a match tomorrow. But before we get into that, I kind of wanted to talk about something else. So Spurs had a player on loan, a striker. You might remember him. Went by the name of Carlos Vinicius. At the end of his loan, we decided not to pay the clause, and we sent him back. And I don't know. So that kind of jumps me into something. We're gonna do the normal thing, but it's gonna be a little different than normal, actually. So normal but not. Here we go. What's up, everybody? Yeah, that's me. I'm Colin. This is Keeper West Ham. As you've noticed, maybe by the background change. Again, I'm saying this one's going to be a little different than it normally is, and that is all good. We are picking players today that aren't necessarily Spurs players. And I'll start it off. This one wasn't the first one I was going to do, but there was a lot of talk over the summer. I actually think it was 2 summers ago, but about wanting one JWP from Southampton, who is now so he's a West Ham. So real quick, I just wanted to throw this up there. And, again, if you're watching this on the recording, let me know in the comments what you think. But are you happy with Sar, or would you rather have had JWP? And again, remember, this is them at their peaks. I know that, last season Sar didn't play that well. Not really his fault, I don't think. So we've got Sar versus JWP. It's an easy one for me. I think we all really wanted James Ward-Prowse because we just needed somebody in that midfield that, could dictate play, that could retain the ball, put in a nice free kick. Now that we've got Sar, I mean, he's not exactly a free kick machine, but that's because we don't let him take them. And we have Madison on the team. So I think with Sar, with Madison, there's no need for James Ward-Prowse anymore. But yeah, I was just curious. I mean, everybody was clamoring out for him at one point in time. So I was just curious to see, if you guys, like I said, are happy with Sar, would rather have had or have James Ward-Prowse. To me, it's easy. Sar, younger player. Even though James Ward-Prowse isn't an old man, he's kind of a one-trick pony, whereas I think Sar's got more to his game. So yeah, just one that I found interesting. The next one is the one I really wanted to show you guys. I used to have a really nice graphic about, how they performed last season. I can't seem to find that. But Carlos Vinicius versus Richie. You'll remember that I think Fulham paid something like 14 mil to secure the signature of Carlos Vinicius. We paid what, like 60 or 70 for Richarlison, and I am going to get their numbers pulled up. Just give me 1 second here. So let me share my screen. Okay, so Carlos Vinicius, last season for Fulham, played 28 matches. His return was 5 goals and 2 assists. I'll go ahead and I'll share that now. Maybe. Yes. So Carlos Vinicius, I don't know if you can see there, 5 goals, 2 assists last season. This season so far, he's only played in 1 match, scored 1 goal. He scored the winner last weekend for Fulham. It's hard for me to say that Carlos Vinicius isn't a better deal, especially for the money, than Richarlison. We've got some people here in the chat, though, that have piped up. What is up, everybody? Chris Peters just joined. Hey, well, I'm very glad you did. It's really good to have you here. We've got Scott M in the house. Scott, it is so nice to see you, man. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're taking care of things up there in Canada, keeping everybody in line. It's a big job. It's a big place, but I think you can handle it, Scott. So I hope you're good. It's between SAR and JWP, which, if you guys will remember, that was the first question that I asked. He said he would take SAR, but you would have preferred a player that's better than both of them. That's fair. And maybe, and I mean, maybe Bentancur is that player. We kind of forget that we have him in the squad. I certainly see him as an improvement on both of them, presuming he can come back to the level that he was playing at when he got injured. And that's always a toughie. So, but yeah, we'll go through some comments here. Vinicius, for me, great young lad, could do well in this team. Agreed. And then we've got some love going on in the chat between everybody. Scott M says Vinicius easily for him, and that isn't even taking into account the price difference. Dang, the price difference plays a big role in it for me. But I mean, yeah, even if you do take that out, their games are so different. With Carlos being more of like an out and out striker, whereas we've got this weird winger striker hybrid thing going on with Richie. So yeah, and like I said, lots of big ups in the chat. I love it. Love it. But yeah, so I mean, again, I'm gonna throw the pick back up, but I honestly think that between the two of them, stats wise, I mean, the stats don't lie. Vinicius had a better season last season than Richarlison. Like that isn't even disputable. And we'll see this season how it goes. But it just seems, for one, like Carlos Vinicius isn't totally devoid of confidence 100%. And that goes pretty far with football players. So yeah, just throwing that out there, and I'll probably revisit it as we're kind of going here. But yeah, Carlos Vinicius is the way better option. And I wish we would have kept him and not spunked all that money away on Richie. But guys, again, I know I keep saying this. We've got a match tomorrow. Get this out of my face. We got a match tomorrow, you guys, and it's not against just anybody. It's against the SCUM. And if anybody would like to come in here again, I know I've already put it in the comments once, but I'm going to double invite you guys to the show. We have a match tomorrow. It is versus some team I've never even heard, like Arsenal or something like that. It's, I don't know, like a cannon or something. I don't know. They're supposed to be pretty bad, so I'm excited for us to play them. We are playing at their house, but luckily, I heard it's pretty quiet over there. You can read books, check out books. Just a little joke, my attempt at a joke. There's been some awesome quotes by our brave, fearless leader about this match, and I want to read those to you guys here real quick. Anyway, again, just want to take this time to say I hope everybody is doing great. Hope you're living your best life. It's Saturday, baby. Only one more sleep until the North London Derby. I cannot wait. And you know who else probably can't wait? Is a gent that just popped up in the back room. I'll give him a second. He looks like he's still adjusting his camera a bit, maybe. But I can't wait to have him on and hear what he's got to say about this match tomorrow, this grudge match. 2 teams enter, 1 team leaves. And on that note, to talk about it is my man, Adrian Sroka. What's up?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thanks for inviting me on. How are you? Are you fine? How's everyone in the chat? Fine. Hopefully they're all fine and not too
everybody
long.
Seems good.
Yeah, I'm confident. I mean, so,
man, I'm not even nervous. I know that I probably should be, but I mean, no, I'm really not. I think that, you know, and it was actually Jose that was on my show yesterday that was talking about this. For years, we've had trouble with Arsenal, but for years we've played under managers that play football that's very one-dimensional, and they've known exactly how to play us. You know, they've known exactly how to line up.
Absolute dross.
You're not wrong.
Go there and take the game to them. They won't like that because Fulham took the game to them and caused them problems. Even Man United, which lost to them, they took the game to them and caused them problems. And I loved Ange's words. He said, well, look, it's a paraphrasing. I mean, he said, look, he said, if we went there and we were to sit back, he didn't actually say that, but inferred it, right? He said, if we went and sit back and all that, and we came away with a draw or something, or even a win, he said, these are the words I like. He said, we wouldn't learn nothing by that. I thought that was fantastic. So he wants to learn, you know, the ceiling of this team, how far forward we go. There'll be bumps in the road. We'll lose matches. We won't get spanked like people say because we've got so much pace at the back. We will suffer defeats, but, you know, not to these. And I think these have got a better defence than Liverpool at this stage, even though Liverpool are rocking well, you know. So it's going to be an interesting couple of weeks, you know. And we have to take it in mind, you know, should the worst happen. I mean, last season, Liverpool finished 5th with 67 points. Now, 67 points this year at 5th would get you Champions League football because it goes down to 5th place this year. So say 69 even, that's 23 wins, right? Now, just to put this across to all those good people in the chat and yourself, that's like 69 points. That leaves 15 games of points. This is all theoretical, of course. Mathematically, it works. But so 15 games, which is 45 points. So in theory, a team could lose 45 points and still qualify for the Champions League. That seems an enormous figure. But, you know, this is why I'm convinced we will get what I've seen so far, and that's without strengthening in January. Big up, Chris Peters. We're going to nail Champions League football this year. I can see us finish 3rd or 4th. Yeah, 69 points, Scott. Good to see you, Scott. So that would do it. All right, you might have to get 72. It might get a bit tougher or whatever, but the ballpark figure is just around 70 points, and possibly very low, 72 max, you know. So, you know, I mean, like, that's achievable with this young team of ours that have, like, surprised us all, hit the ground running, and are unbeaten in 5 games. So, you know, I mean, we'll have a better idea by Christmas.
Oh, for sure. But it's doable. You know, I think what you're saying and the point you're making it very well, is that it's not impossible. There was a lot of talk before the season started, you know, especially as Kane was leaving, about, you know, where we would be without Kane's 30 goals. And, you know, we're not going to be anything except for a mid-table squad. And, you know, there was all this. And it's really nice. I was one of the people that I was sold on Ange from basically the get-go. You know, there were people like Ian Meth in the chats, you know, in our WhatsApp groups. He's a very smart guy, lives in Scotland, so he's seen a lot of Ange. But there were people like him that were getting me pumped up. There were Australians that we knew that were all pumped up, and I bought in instantly. You know, I watched his Celtic play a bit, and I just had a feeling that this team was going to take to this type of football, and it's happened. It's exciting, like you said. I'm excited to see. We know what we're going to do tomorrow. You know, we know how we're going to line up for the most part. We know how we're going to play for the most part. But Arsenal, to me, is a little bit of a question mark, Adrian. And that's because I haven't watched much of them at all this season. I didn't get to see any of the match versus PSV. I also know that was a rotated squad slightly. But do you know much about the style of play of Arsenal? I know that it's. I mean, I don't want to say total football exactly, but I know they definitely don't sit back and counter. They try to keep possession. I think for the most part, I want to say maybe sort of similar to the way we play. Is that accurate?
If I watch highlights and goals, I'm not going to watch Arsenal. I'm a Spurs fan. It goes against my brain. But they play a 4-3-3. You got Rice tends to sit a little bit deeper in front of their back four, leaving Odegaard, who's brilliant for them. And we don't know who the third player is going to be in midfield, whether it be Havertz or whether it be Vieira there. We don't know if Martinelli's fit on the wing, but they've got Trossard, but you know that it'll be Saka and Jesus. So they're going to be strongest on their right-hand side, but we're strongest on our left because we've got Van der Ven and Udogie, right?
Exactly.
So if you were looking for weaknesses, but you never know what's going to happen a day if someone's going to mistake and all that, you'd think that like we would target Zinchenko. I think he's a good player. I'd have had him at Spurs, but you can get at
they're going to target Porro,
right? And they're going to target Porro. And Ange will play Porro because we are going to attack them. No messing about. We're not going to sit back. We could be forced back. I should imagine the first 15 minutes they'll come at us. But having said that, if they come at us and we win the ball and there's gaps, it won't be the charge that some people think it's going to be, that they'll come at us and we'll have to weather the first 15, 20 minutes. I don't see that. If we've got the ball, we won't waste it. We'll be good with it. So, and we'll go down. It's an interesting. I'm a bit biased when you match the two midfields, whether they play Vieira, Havertz. I just think our three, Basuma, Maddison, and Sarah's better, but you've got to prove it on the day. So, absolutely. And because teams will crowd the middle, I mean, Porro tuck in, inverted, to crowd the midfield space. Zinchenko will do the same for them. He'll tuck in. So midfield, you notice every Premier League football game, the midfield's congested because that's where the most goals are scored, from what they call zone 14 into the penalty area. 75% of goals come from there, right? So that's why there's crowd. And that's why in every Premier League game you'll always see when you're playing a team, you'll always see one wide strip down a wing where there's no one. You know what I mean? And I've always thought, wouldn't it be a good idea just to sit a winger out there? So the game, I think, if we're going to win it, we're going to win it on the wings. Now I don't know. Yeah. I'm confident Kulusevski plays and Son plays. You would think because we've won recently, Solomon would keep his space on the left, but I wouldn't be surprised if Richarlison starts.
I was going to ask you about that.
He would give you that added defensive, effort on the left. So if Udogie's gone really run forward in front of him and cut into midfield, which I've seen him do, then you want someone there. If they get us on the break, you want someone there who can defend. And he's got the shithousery, hasn't he, Richarlison?
Yeah, so, he does. Yeah,
and then what you could do with him, he could move into the centre for corners, free kicks, and things like that. So, but I don't think Son. I like Son through the middle. I don't think he works as well on the left.
Agreed.
Well, he hasn't shown it this season. He's good enough to work on the left. Let's be fair. He's our best striker and he can score with both feet, and he's our best finisher. So you really want your best finisher buzzing around the penalty area or in the penalty area, don't you? So, but
I also think he seems to get nullified by fullbacks. I don't know if it's their pace versus kind of the pace of a center back, but he seems to do better in the middle. I think partly because center backs aren't quite as agile and speedy as a modern day fullback.
Find most attacking teams, when their players got the ball on the wings, whether it's a winger or an attacking midfielder, they're always trying to cut inside or play the ball inside to narrow the space. And that's the reason, because I think the last time I looked, which would have been months ago, only 1 in 64 crosses, I'm not including corners here, only 1 in 64 crosses in the box results in a goal. So coaches and all that should know them stats. If they don't, I mean, I've been exasperated with Spurs and stats over the years. I've been exasperating over corners, free kicks, throw-ins and things like that, because like it's just the when we waste them, it's just annoying. It's just annoying.
And that picture I had up, I'll throw it back up there. It was kind of to show, hey, Perisic is not going to be here, but Richarlison might play. I had that exact same thought, that you were having. But the thing is, it's going to be tough. You said that we waste crosses, we waste corners. Perisic's delivery was so good, the best on the squad, I think, no doubt. And I think he made Richarlison look better because most of Richarlison's goals have been headed goals. I just worry that without Perisic on the pitch, that Richarlison will be a lot less effective. I know obviously Matters can put the ball on a plate from far away, and so that's always an option. I expect he'll be more central. He'll make his way over to the wings, of course. There'll be some fluidity there, especially he's kind of I see him as having kind of a free role, being able to move around. But yeah, I just wonder. I mean, do you think we'll see a lot less effectiveness from Richarlison now that Perisic is out?
If you put the balls in, it's that most of Perisic's balls over there are usually not when he's taking a corner. Usually but it just worked out that way for the goal against Brentford. But don't forget, apart from Maddison, Porro can take a free kick in a corner.
Good point. Very good point.
He's got a sweet free kick on him. So, and I haven't even thought about others in the team. I mean, yeah. So.
Well, we know it's not going to be Royale making the beautiful crosses. We know that much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wondered, and I mean, we know that Kulu doesn't cross the ball very much. He would much rather cut in and then do something on his left instead of cross in with his right, get a nice outswinger. So yeah, I've thought about that. I don't know if Solomon is a very good crosser of the ball. I haven't seen enough of him in that regard. So yeah, it's tough. It's tough to say.
Got a couple of assists, so he showed us against Burnley with them couple of assists that he's not just a head down tricky winger who takes players on and runs into cul-de-sacs and things like that, like Moore would or whatever.
Exactly. Even like Aaron Lennon from days past.
Yeah, he's got the ability to get to look up, which I like players with vision. Like Kulu's very good at looking up and assisting. Always makes time on the ball and cuts in. People complain that he doesn't cross enough, but you've got to have someone to cross to in the box, and they've got to be crossable too. And by that I mean is I'm seeing things from a great height in a stadium, right? But when he's down on the deck and he's got two or three bodies on him, it might look obvious to me up here that we could get a ball in, but from his standing point of view, there's just no way he can pass the ball, so he move with it. And he does use his left foot a lot, but he scored with his right. And he's got 2 goals and an assist. So fans that complain should go and look at his all-round stats. I know in his position we expect assists and goals. That's understandable. But, you won't have nothing to worry about Kulu and his stats by the end of the season. I'm confident. He's a quality footballer who will get better. He's young.
Kulu, yeah, very, very much so. And I think you're right. I think he's going to round out his game. We saw in the match where he scored that winner. He's got a right foot. He scored with it. So I'm just hoping that maybe he can. I don't know. I hope that Postecoglou can maybe unlock that extra level that I feel like that he's got to his game. If he could just incorporate his right foot a little more, put in a couple crosses, that would definitely benefit him and the squad. I think that he's a little bit one-dimensional right now. I think you'd agree.
Better decision making comes with experience, though.
Absolutely. One thing he's got
enough quality. He's got enough skills. You can't fault his work ethic for the team. His defensive qualities. He's done more running than he played in the Premier League, I think, or second most or whatever. He holds the ball up well. This is why I see him as a future number 10. He could even be an emergency number 9 because at least he can hold the ball up, play it either side of him for players to slide people in beside him down in the penalty area or something like that. No, he's got all them attributes. I mean, I'm a big fan. So, but I expect him to do even more than we've seen.
Definitely.
So
I like his. Sorry, I keep interrupting you. Go ahead, Adrian. My bad.
No, I'm just like Ange surprised us before, didn't he? after we played away at Burnley and he changed the team against Man United. That surprised us. And I'm wondering if he thinks he might go with Richarlison in the middle just for a bit of shithousery against Saliba and, and Rice if he's there and all that, Or
definitely.
But as we're away from home and there'll be space, because that's why he played Richarlison in the middle against Brentford away. Because Sonny wouldn't have been able to do nothing. Not in the middle. He'd been pushed. He can get pushed off the ball and all that. He's a great player. Great player.
But strength isn't one of his main attributes. You wouldn't say that,
he's going to be given a new contract, because when you like him, it's not all about playing the Ange way. It's not all about pace, because we're not going to be like playing deep and trying to hit teams on the break where Sonny can use his pace. Sonny will be used like that probably in away games when you're going to get space to run at people. But with Ange ball, you're looking at our front three being in the final third most of the time. So the only running fast time you need a spurt. This is why he can play to a ripe old age, because then all he's got to do is be played in and running behind. That's all he's got to do running behind. So I could see Sonny playing to his 34, 35 quite easily. You don't need to be jet-hilled, and do a bow when he had like the turbo extra speed that he could just zoom into. You don't need. He's not going to do that, I mean. So it's.
I think he'll age well, like you said. All he's going to have to do. Again, I'm repeating you. Sorry, but is make those runs in behind. He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to do a crazy solo goal like he did versus Burnley. His Puskas winning goal versus Burnley. Like you were saying, with Ange, we don't have to play like that anymore. And I think it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing that, like you said, will prolong Sonny's career. I think. We're asking him to do maybe like less running, you could say. And yeah, Chris Peters says Sonny may have lost pace, but he knows how to score and get in the spaces. Exactly what you were saying, Adrian. Exactly Chris, what you're saying.
Eltel, come on, Eltel, get your button.
Yeah, Eltel's here letting us know that Everton is beating Brentford. I'd have a cheeky bet on that. So come on, Everton. Let me get the link in here for Eltel, our boy Jose. Let me get him the link.
Come on, Jose.
He might be busy. But everybody, there's a link. We also had Chris Peters saying, "Hey, Cole, when will you have membership / super chats available? And what is the difference to Patreon?" Good question. I need to get like maybe 750 more subscribers or something like that. I'm at about 250. And once I get all those subscribers, you get to the 1,000. Super chats are available, and then memberships. So Patreon is basically just like a third party thing. And there's like a monthly thing. So you'll be a member, you'll get shouted out. If you look at Patreon, there's actually some cool things that come with each of those memberships. So feel free to take a look. Also, if you aren't into memberships and you just want something, I got a couple products, Talking Ball shirts at this link here. So yeah, anybody check it out if you do want to. If you don't want to, God, please don't feel like you have to. A like and a subscribe is just as nice. On that note, Alexander Hilton is here. Steak, Basuma, steak. Alex, if you'd like to come on the show, man, you're more than welcome. We'd love to have you. We're talking the match tomorrow and how bad we're gonna win. Adrian, I'm seeing 3-1 in my mind. I don't know. That's the number I keep seeing is 3-1 to Spurs.
I picked 3-1 because
you did awesome.
Yeah, the last time, it was a while ago. The last time I was at the Emirates and we won. When I was there, we won the time. I've been there before when we've won years and years ago. Actually, it was when Vicky Villa and Mickey Hazard were playing, and we won 3-1 there, like at the old Arsenal. That's the last North Derby away I think I've been to. Unless it was a League Cup game. I might have gone to a League Cup game there when we won. I can't remember, but I go to the home games. I don't go to away games.
Yeah, I know. I don't really know how that points system and stuff works. I would imagine that you probably have points to do it, but yeah. But so we have Alexander Hilton, the man himself, in here saying 69-0 to Spurs. Basuma with all 69 goals. I could see it. I could see it happening. No, Basuma's due one. Basuma's due a goal though. That is a good shout for Basuma to nab one. I think that he pops up in the right spaces. He could do it. He could do it. I wouldn't be super surprised. I don't know how. Just real quick, how nice is it having him in this squad? He was so wasted last year. It seemed like we might have not got the player that we were hoping to, and then this year he's just exploded with confidence and with ability. And I know it's manager taking the shackles off of him basically, but how nice is that? I mean, it's like a new signing, they say, but it really is. Like it's wonderful. I don't know. You've been happy with what you've seen from Basuma?
Yeah, I mean, it's been brilliant. He's probably been our best player. I mean, on Inside Spurs, he did an interview. They did an interview with a couple of guys on there, and you can go and check it out. I've put it in my group actually. The interview.
Oh, cool.
And he's been excellent. And the thing is, he loves it. The club. It came out before. He just loves it. And the good thing with the change of football from dross to playing proper football is the players are happy. They're happy going into training. They're loving what Ange is doing. They're winning.
Oh, yeah.
Happy again. And all this
celebrations after the win. Have you seen those? How pumped he gets, how they go to the fans
on the bench, yeah. And you see, and what you see is like when these players are happy, come round any time, and they're under contracts anyway, so no one's going to leave Spurs that's under contract unless we don't want them, and Levy gives the go ahead. But should the Saudis come in, or Real Madrid, PSG or Bayern again, all that, like these players ain't going to want to go anywhere because they're so happy at the club, and they know that if they go to another club, where they're going to go with a brand of football is the same that's going to suit their game. So these are all positives. And it's been amazing. The turnaround's just been amazing, in 5 games, what he's done, And so,
absolutely.
And he looks like he's really enjoying himself as well, And long may it continue. And tomorrow, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, like, let's go there. They're bricking it, actually, their fans. So all the pressure's on them.
I'm sure. Yeah.
And even ones I've known determined and said, well, we're always worried because every season you come to us, we think this is going to be the time that you beat us because we know you will beat us there eventually. You know what I mean? Which is going to happen, right? So I said, well, you might lose tomorrow and get it over and done with.
Just get it out of the way. They're resigned to it. Well, that's good. Hopefully their players are too. So I just want to shout out Chris Peters. Sign up for my Patreon, Chris. You are the first Patreon member for Talking Ball right now, and I just want to thank you so very much. Let you know that because of you, someday I'll be able to get a better light than this, and you guys will be able to see me more clearly. Thank you so much. It means the world. And he says, I'll swap to member when it comes up, and it will. Thank you, and thank you. You're making my heart swell, bub. I appreciate it. Back to the footy. Julie, my mom, says vibes for days with Basuma, and agreed. He's having so much fun. You see him celebrate, after the matches and get the fans all excited, and he does the dance to his song, and it just. I haven't seen the team this happy and together and this much team spirit in a long, long time.
And one of the things that I really noticed, having watched Spurs over the decades, when you Stevie Perryman used to talk about, we had the knack, we knew how to get across the line. And back in the day, as we were going up to win cups and trophies, which I see, you could see it, even getting to finals, there are always them games, them difficult games that somehow you just find that little bit of extra or quality or whatever it is, and you get across the line, and then you find yourself in a final and you win it, and I saw that against Sheffield United. Under those last managers, we wouldn't have won that game. We would have tied up, and then we would have sat back and hunkered down and tried to defend that point. Or we'd have lost because it would have been a different style of football. So, and I thought, I'm glad I had a bet on the FA Cup.
You're right.
All right, Az.
You're right.
Hey. It's Mr. 4-2's come in the building.
I was on the stream last night, Adrian, with I think, was it 6 other Arsenal fans? It was like a Bournemouth Derby preview. It was just me.
Yikes.
Do you know how hard that was? Like, honestly.
I bet. Yeah. I'm surprised that you made it, man.
They do these like joint Arsenal Spurs teams, and they have this fans on. I couldn't do a podcast and have Arsenal fans on it. It's not me. I'm a bit too partisan.
I didn't even know. So I knew there was going to be some, but I didn't know it was going to be like
You didn't know you're going to be the only Spurs fan?
Yeah, the only Spurs fan.
Yikes. Well, so what are they feeling? That's good. You can give us some enemy intel. How are they feeling about that?
They're like, the normal one who was actually on TJ's last night, Connor, I actually watched it, but he was very respectful, to be fair to him, and about combined 11s and just about the game, because he's actually watched a bit of us this season. A lot of them haven't, so they just think they're going to spank us pretty much. That's the impression I got.
Peters, good comment, mate.
Yeah. Chris Peters is the man. Big up. I wish that I could have seen more of Graham Roberts. You know, it's even hard to find clips and stuff. But anyway, I've heard this.
He's one of my dad's favorite players, actually, Graham Roberts.
Well, have you met him at the stadium, Az?
Yeah. Well, it was very brief. It was only like for 1 minute. Yeah.
I've met him.
I've been to a stadium tour, but I haven't seen a match at the stadium yet.
Back in the day, I used to go up and because we were all at Rudolph's, the club at the front.
Someone told me
one
about
of the players used to come in. I mean, but after games back then, in the early 80s, we would go in the Chanticleer in the old ground. And if you went up the stairs, you could go in the players' bar. So we always to go up, and we always went up in the players' bar, and we'd meet the players and things like that. You know,
that's so cool.
Yeah. Well, then, now as more and more money's coming to the game, there's been a bigger distance between us and the players. I mean, I met Neil Ruddock and Charlie Chan's nightclub. You know, when Spurs were going bust and all that, like. And, you know, I've met Chivers, Peters, and Coates, and see that in the local pubs, around the area. You know, Miller and Exit.
Do you remember the old White Hart Lane, Adrian, when you'd have the gates, obviously, and the players would drive through, and there would be fans waiting, and then after the game, they used to get out. It was like West Side, somewhere on the West Side. They used to come out because I remember I have this memory as a kid because my brother must have taken me when we had like players like Casey Keller and that.
Oh
team,
wow!
Because I grew up in '92. I grew up in '92, so I was born in '92. Sorry, so when I was a kid, it was like the '90s for me, and so I have like a signature book with like Casey Keller and that. But the players used to come out, so you used to be able to wait for them, and I met a lot of them when I was a kid then.
Yeah.
And but it was just very different. Nowadays it's very, like you said, split. Like the players are very far away from the fans.
And you got two entrances into the underground car park into the ground.
They've become superstars now, more like an actual celebrity that, you know what I mean, that you can't touch or get close to. Real quick, I want to throw up Wayne's comment. He's talking to Chris here, but he says Graham Roberts will always be one of his all-time faves. And big up on becoming the first Patreon member. I didn't even see that in part. You guys are good people. I wanted to say, though. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Yes, I was going to talk about.
Scored the equaliser when we were playing Anderlecht in the second leg final of the UEFA Cup final. And I'm sure he scored the equaliser because they scored first, which gave us, when it went to penalties. And then Tony Park saved that penalty and never forget it. And
so he is a huge part of the history here then.
Yeah.
Was that in at White Hart Lane? Talk about that one.
Yeah, because it was two legs. Yeah. We played Anderlecht away, who were rumoured later to have bribed the referee to win against Nottingham Forest in the previous round. And then we played them away and drew, and we played them at home. Then it went to penalties, and Danny Thomas missed his. And this is when I was talking to El Tol about this on Jose on his chat about it. And the whole crowd just started singing There's Only One Danny Thomas. And that summed up the Spurs fan base and a unity for me, a special unity about them, you know. Even Klinsmann said in his two stints, he said, there's something unique about this club. And we all know you have to be a Spurs fan to understand what that spirit is in the ether about us and surrounding our club, because it is special. It is special. It is unique. And of course, then
Chris said there were tears.
Yeah, well, then
cried
I think my dad was 100%. He was there. He told me he threw the ball to like the player to make the throw or something for one of the goals. I can't remember which goal it was.
Oh,
maybe it's the semi-final or something. Like he was in the crowd and he threw the ball, and like one of the Spurs players was taking a throw or something when he scored. But I don't remember which round it was. I think it was the semi-final or the final. Yeah,
he's like that ball boy that worked for Mourinho. That got us that goal.
Yeah. But he always tells me stories because my dad's in his 70s now. He's like 70 something, and he's been following Spurs for about 40 plus years. I mean, we've had season tickets for a very long time. So he tells me all the stories about like Ozzy Diaz, Glenn Hoddle. He loves that team. That's probably his favorite team. Like that was our
Yeah,
DS
that was
Hoddle,
because
that
then
team. Yeah.
my worst experience, and I'm 68, so I was born in
Mm.
55, so I watched the double side play, but I was only a kid, so I was
Mm.
too young to appreciate what was going on. But once we beat Chelsea, I wasn't old enough when we beat Chelsea 2-1 in the 67 Cup final. That's why they hate us when we beat them in 1967. Robertson and Saul scored for us, and so I'd have been 12, I think. Yeah, I'd have been 12, so at a good age to sort of understand football a bit. But yeah, I lost my thread then where I was going to go with this, actually.
Oh.
It's easy to do. It's easy to do. But hey, while we're talking about trophy winning teams and trophies, I thought this would be an appropriate time to bring up this question that I kind of had for you guys. Do you think that Postecoglou is the manager to finally bring a trophy back to White Hart Lane?
I don't know.
It doesn't have to be this season. It doesn't have to be this season either.
I don't think it actually depends on him, but that's just my opinion.
Oh,
Yes,
you think there's like external factors? You think
Because
yes? I mean,
I argue we could have won a trophy under Mourinho. Levy sat in 5 days before a final. It's a possibility.
Fair, yeah.
I know people disagree with me, but Conte has got a history of winning trophies. I argue under Poch we could have won one if we just had a little bit more. Even the Harry Redknapp, I'd argue we had a very good team. We just needed a few. If you sprinkled it with 3 or 4 top players on top of what we already had, or 2 or 3 top players, like he wanted a striker and a centre half because we had their least injuries. We could have maybe gone over the line there as well. But yeah, I mean the foundation's there because he's already changed the way we play within like 3 or 4 games. Like you can see a distinct style, but you just need to add and build a squad at proper depth.
We need to have 2 players at every position, right? Like a City or another team like that. I agree.
I agree with him in the sense that because I watched his interview with BBC this morning actually, because everyone kept telling me to watch it. That there is a massive desperation to win a trophy, and he doesn't just want it to be that. But at the same time, I disagree with him because sometimes if you win something, it kind of just starts something bigger. Like if you look at Mourinho, for example, he used to win the League Cup and then they go on and win the title. Or Pep doesn't really disrespect all the other cups. So I don't know.
Well, I'm confident.
I understand. Chris Peters here says that it depends on what Levy wants. A cup or top 4, and
we know what Levy wants.
Levy wants. Yeah, exactly. I guess our only hope is that he could do both. You know what I mean? Is that we get a favorable run in a cup, and then
because people forget the Ramos run was like the only time I ever saw Spurs resting players. I think inside the league compared to like the cups, but I know that was because we were still in the UEFA Cup at the time as well. I don't know whether that's why he was doing it. I don't know, because obviously Ramos was notorious of winning the cup at Seville. I mean, he was one of those managers who won the European Cup with Seville.
I found some really cool cards, by the way, you guys. I don't know if you can see these. I got a Gary Mabbott right here.
Yeah.
And then let's see if you can tell. And then see if you can tell who this one is.
Oh, is that Gary Lineker?
It is. Nice work. Yeah. My father-in-law found a whole bunch of cards, a whole bunch of Premier League cards. I think all from the same year, like 90, 92-ish. But yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad you could tell who those were. I thought those were pretty cool. I really interrupted somebody though. We were talking about trophies and Levy.
No, that's fine. It's fine.
Well, Levy should realise that if he wishes for top 4, then he's got to be prepared to spend money, because I think we can get top 3 or top 4 if we carry on the way we are. But if we're in Europe, we're going to have to add to the squad. We're going to have to add squad depth because we won't be able to compete on 4 fronts with the team we've got. We even know now that we need a left back, a quality left back, and a quality centre back. And I don't, Az knows what I'm like, and I don't want people mentioning backup. We're Tottenham Hotspur, 10th richest club in the world or whatever, and fans talk about, oh, we need a backup. No, we don't. We need a player that slots into that first 11 like anything. So basically, if you've got 11 in your squad, you got 9 on the bench. You can use 5 subs. You want to be able to turn to any of them subs, but really to keep a squad happy, you're not going to keep a squad of 25 quality players happy. Even Man City haven't been able to do that. That's why Jesus, Zinchenko, and others are left. They couldn't, Sancho and all, they left because they couldn't get game time. But you're talking like you want 16, 17 quality players. And then the other 8, you can have a mix of, we've got some fantastic youngsters coming through. but they won't be
Very
ready
true,
for another 2 or 3 years. But I mean, like, you then you can mix and match. But all right, now if we played that team again, we had Richarlison on the bench, Johnson on the bench, we had Gill will be ready in about 3 weeks, and so will Lascelles if he stays, but I think he'll go back to Spain.
The Lo Celso one's weird. How is he complaining about game time? Sorry to slightly change the subject, but he's complaining about game time while he's injured.
Is he? I haven't seen anything about that.
Yeah. He's currently has an injury and isn't fit to play, and supposedly he's wanting to
because
leave
he got the injury after he complained. I think he wanted to get in earlier.
Okay.
But you know, fair. I mean, he could play as a sort of 10, a more forward line. He likes to go for as he's definitely an attacking mid. I mean, Messi loves him in his team because of the way he plays. But, I mean, I raved about him before he came to Spurs. I'd seen him play for Argentina and I thought, what a good player. But it hasn't happened for him in Spurs. Yeah, he had a couple of spurts and a bit under Mourinho because Mourinho was the one who got him to sign permanently. Well, I think, hang about, he's kicking on there. We're going to see more of him. He's got a higher ceiling. I believe he has. But some players just don't cut it in the Premier League, and I don't think he's going to.
He just seems a bit predictable. I hate to use that word, but... It's just his passing, like compared to say Maddison. I think Maddison can play like a variety of.
Yeah, in his few good games, he did carry the ball well and tried to make things happen. You could see that he's got a player who's got vision. He's a good player, but you know he's not. You know, it depends on what we look for. You know, I mean, like if he
just doesn't seem interested. He's just not interested. I think, guys, as part of it. I think that there's disinterest from him.
Oh, I was watching that bench from the stadium. I don't know if you was you at the game, Has?
Yeah.
I mean, everyone ran on that pitch.
Yeah, I know.
It showed good. Even Lascelles, that showed good spirit as far as I'm concerned. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah. And
Julie says Lo Celso has been such a disappointment for us. 100%. 100%. You know, we you were saying, we've seen him for Argentina. We've seen him when he's playing in Spain, and it looks like he cares. And again, shows he's talented, but just didn't click here.
Well, in his defense, though, for the cup game, I don't think the midfield partners he was playing with are that helpful for him. Like, if we played someone like Skip or Højbjerg with someone else, a bit more like Bissouma, obviously not Bissouma, but maybe someone like that, and then Lo Celso maybe would have had more freedom to do something, but Højbjerg and Skip was so similar. It's just.
Do you think Brian Gill fits the system?
See, that's the thing.
He's another enigma, isn't he? He's another enigma.
I actually really like Brian Gill. I'm one of those people who actually really likes Brian Gill because he really reminds me. I'm not saying this, by the way, quality-wise, by the way. It's just his style would remind me a lot of Modric.
Okay.
I'm not saying he's that level, by the way, just before anyone just clips this. But, like, I actually really like him. Like, I think he's got something there. It's just, I don't know where I think problem with him is that I don't know what his best position is. Like, you could put him in the middle, you put him on the left, you put him on the right.
He's another one like Sonny on the ball at times. I mean, you know, when Sonny gets brushed off the ball easily. But having said that, under Conte and all that, he was doing. I think when they went away and they did all that torturous training career and all that, I think it was him and who else were the fittest two afterwards? Him. And he was tracking back well for a winger actually in games when I see him play.
He's got energy for days. There's like a battery inside that guy. He just can run and run and run. It's insane.
I mean, when you're looking at him and Brennan Johnson at the moment, you're thinking like impact subs. They come on with half hour to go with the legs and lungs they've got. They're just anyone out there with tire legs and opposing teams' defense is in for a torrid time, aren't they? You know what I mean?
Man. Can you imagine just thinking it? You'd be like, oh God, no, Brennan Johnson. Yeah, if you're tired, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, I don't know. I mean, like, so you got about 2 or 3 weeks to go. I'm not sure how many games we got. We got 15 games before the January transfer window before anyone could leave anyway. So if there's a chance of Gill, I mean, I haven't, you know, my heart goes out for Sessegnon with all his injuries. You know, I know there's a player in there and everyone's written him off, and I understand that, but there is a player. When I watched him at Fulham, he was something else. And all he's had is he's had a lot of terrible bad luck. And I don't think Conte or Mourinho especially, and some players' confidence is more fragile than others. And I think he'd been through a bit, and I don't think they helped his confidence at all. And at times you need that arm round the shoulder confidence, or like if it's Ange, he'd be going, just go and play your game, take a risk in the final third. Don't worry about keep having to pass the ball back and all that. Just take your man on, take him on. If you lose it, take him on again, like they're doing.
Yeah.
His attitude for the North London derby in an interview. I don't know if it was an interview you see has, but I was saying to Colin earlier in the panel that he was saying, well, we could go to Arsenal virtually, to paraphrase him, and defend. He said, but we wouldn't learn nothing out of that, even if we came away with a draw or a win. He said we wouldn't learn nothing. So you say he wants to learn more about the team going forward. He wants them, although he tells him what to do on the pitch, he doesn't want to have to be on the sideline and tell them, conduct them like a conductor or like they're robots. He's saying before another interview, I want the players to do what I want them to do instinctively. So they're
ultra instinct.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to say that. Sorry.
I love it. Dragon Ball. I'm watching. I get it.
Yeah. So
because I was with your T-shirt, so I was like,
yeah.
Yes.
Oh, right.
Exactly. So I mean, I agree, and I think that Ange is a brave dude. He has no intention of ever holding back. I think that we're gonna, we'll come out this way against City if we get into the Champions League next season. We'll come out this way against Bayern, against Madrid, against Barcelona, against anybody, and it's exciting. You know what I mean?
I think
I'm excited.
When you finish that, sorry.
Oh no, I was gonna say I'm so excited for tomorrow because I truly believe we're gonna, they're gonna be scared. We're gonna come out. We don't sit back. I just can't. You get used to a team playing the same way forever and ever. You play them. You're like, oh, it's Spurs. We know this match. We know what we're doing here. But they don't. They really don't. Not a good time to play us, obviously. As Sonny so rightfully pointed out, Arsenal are going to be scared, and we need to take advantage of that. We need to come out hard. Guns a-blazing. As soon as we come out there, take the guns to Arsenal. But we need to. Not really. That sounded terrible. Don't do that. Not what I meant. It was expression. I didn't do a very good job at it. But
an expression.
Yeah,
but
sorry about that.
I just want to say something quick on this. Like, if we're going to give him another chance, I don't want to see him playing left back. I think we're going to have to play in left wing.
Winger.
And use him. I don't see him as a left back. And all the Fulham fans that I know, and I know quite a few to be fair, actually, it's like 2 or 3 of them. So when we signed Sessegnon, I asked them about how he was like, and he said, he's obviously doing really good for us, but he was playing left wing, as that's what they told me. So obviously we brought him and we started playing left back. I didn't really get it. Because they were telling me he plays left wing and he was doing really well for them at left wing. So
that's fair enough. I mean, some other fans, sometimes you think, okay, you can take too much on their judgment on a player and lay it, because I thought one of his best games was we were away at Man City and we were under a lot of pressure. I think it was a game we lost, but he had to cope with Phil Foden and the winger who's now at Chelsea, the England winner.
Mason Mount?
Palmer.
Something.
No, the guy they bought from winger, the tricky winger.
Madrid?
No, we're all going to kick ourselves when the game comes up.
Right, yeah. I have no clue.
Raheem Sterling.
Oh, Sterling.
Oh, yeah.
And he handled, and I like Foden as a player, I do. I mean, and he handled them too well down on that side. And I thought, I switched over and thought, oh, you can defend, man. You can use your pace and defend. But like you say, it will depend. We know, I'm half hopeful, you see, because we need a quality left back as cover for Udogie. Otherwise, we're sort of screwed there. I mean,
that's true. A lot of pressure on him, for sure.
I would have kept Reguilon personally, but I know a lot of people disagree.
He played well, apparently, but that always happens, doesn't it? He played well. I said he was his best player against Bayern.
It's not because of what he played for Man United. I've watched their games, but it's just because I liked him from Seville days. So for me, when Mourinho got something out of him, obviously for a year, and then Conte came in and tried to turn him into a wing back, which didn't work. But for me, I still felt that there was a player there. So
he did get an assist for us, I think. Reguilon, didn't he? I think he did.
Yeah, he did. Reguilon was a player there for a minute. He used to be really, really good at getting down to the touchline. And
I really like Reguilon.
You can understand why Conte and Mourinho didn't like him, because they like players first and foremost can defend and work their socks off. And Reguilon always looks good going forward. he does. He
Kind
has a
of until he gets to the actual final third, and then he kind of is just like,
he has a tendency to make wild lunges, like Emerson Royal at his worst. You know what I mean? He's come on.
Yeah,
Emerson
luckily
Royal,
it hasn't caught us. I don't
he's
think he's
just
gotten red carded yet for us,
he's
but it
not good
definitely. I
enough.
know what you mean. It's
just Royal's just not good enough.
Do you mean
for the
Emerson?
final.
Did he get red carded in the derby?
Oh no, I'm talking. Sorry, I'm
Oh, I
talking.
think
I'm
regular.
talking
I
regular.
think regular.
last week,
Oh,
didn't he?
yeah.
I mean, Lloris has thrown the ball in the net twice on the last two North
God,
London.
that was so bad, that
Emerson
goal.
I
got
know.
sent off.
Just without that, we're already at an advantage. You know. So hey, real quick too.
7 of
Do you
our
guys think
players
that
will be
there's-
making their debuts in the North London derby, and they're just going to go in there without any fear whatsoever.
Perfect. They don't know to be
They won't have
scared.
played in the
It's
games when
perfect.
they've lost and have any psychological damage in them, and you know that it won't affect Kula, and it won't affect Son, and it won't affect Romero. They're three that have played before. And I think Basuma's come on as subs. Is he in those games, Has? I'm not sure. I can't remember.
Yeah, I'll
I'm trying to
defer
remember
to Has.
Conte when he
can't
came
remember.
on. He did play well against
Conte
Arsenal for
wasn't a
Brighton,
pain.
but yeah.
So
Right.
we're going to just go at them. I mean, I don't even, I believe we'll win the game. I'm not sure they're going to get away with coming at us like a 20 minutes as a cavalry charge. You expect the home side to come at you from the start, but they lose the ball. We're at the throats. You know, I mean, I just, it's not like I could see them coming at us or any other team if we were a mid-low block, because then you're sitting back and sort of inviting it. But I just don't see that happening tomorrow. You know,
I think it's the thing with the derbies, right? Even when we were 2-0 up under Redknapp years and years ago, we still lost 5-2. So, like, and that was a team for me who was like very good. Like, Redknapp had a very good side.
well,
So
Spurs fans, you could be 5-0 up with a minute ago,
Yeah.
and blow the fucking whistle. You know what I mean? Because until that whistle blows, you're not into reality. You're not being brought back down to reality. You know.
Well, Adrian, one of my first games was when we lost 4-3 to Man City in the cup. We were 3-0 up at half time and they went down to 10 men. Joey Barton got sent off, I think. And we lost 4-3.
Oh my God, Joey Barton.
John Macken, was it something? Jamie Macken, or was it? Is that his name? He scored, I think, for the City. Something Macken. I remember that game so vividly. It was one of my first games.
Was it back in the day when Dzeko was up front for him?
No, we're talking even before that.
All right.
We have something really special, you guys. We have somebody in the back room that I've never had on the show before, I don't think, and let's make it happen officially for the first time. Chris Peters, what's up, man?
Bro.
Hey,
hi,
how's it
welcome, mate.
You doing all right, bud?
Oh yeah, good here. Yeah, just thought come and say hello.
I appreciate it, and I appreciate you, sir. You're a good man. Thank you for everything. I appreciate you. But yeah, it's good to have you on. You feeling excited, nervous? How are you feeling for the match tomorrow, Chris?
I got a lot of feedback.
I wonder if it's me.
I don't know what's going on. I've got I can hear loads of people in the background. Anyway, yeah.
Oh, maybe mute your pause your YouTube video.
Have you got your YouTube up as well as StreamYard at the same time? If you are, close the YouTube. Just close the YouTube and you won't get no echo and feedback.
That'll fix it.
And that'll fix it.
Oh no! Now he's totally gone. Chris, come back, buddy. Sorry about that. I'll post the link again.
I'm on StreamYard. Right, he could have closed his YouTube while he's on StreamYard. He's probably closed.
All good though. We'll get him back in here
because he's got to come on YouTube to click the link.
Right, exactly. So you'll come on YouTube. He'll click the link,
and then close the YouTube, and then that's what I do.
And close the YouTube if you can hear us.
So click the link.
Back on.
Join the link, and before you press because it gives you like that screen, remember, where you can see your face yourself, and then close the YouTube and then join that. That's how I do it. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, Chris, please come back, my man. We'd love to talk to you more. And again, thank you so much for your membership, dude. I really appreciate that more than you know. Okay, so I'd love to hear Chris. Chris was getting ready to talk about, whether or not he's excited, nervous.
I won't sleep tonight very well, so let's put.
I was gonna say we always say over here in the States, like one more sleep until the match. That's all I got is one more sleep. That's all I got to make it through. I'm so excited.
I'll sleep all right. I've got loads of beer.
There you go.
I've drinking till about 8 o'clock, and I know there's going to be loads of podcasts on, and we're all going to be watching them today.
Yeah, I know. Should I tell you,
Sorry?
Colin, my last experience of last North London derby, right, was I was up till like 4 a.m. on Tottenham away, I think, with Alex box office and
Yeah.
like Stell.
Oh my God.
It was last year, I remember. I was up to like 4 a.m.
Box
And we're like, the
office.
games are like 12-ish, so we're just like, what are we doing stuff up? But oh well.
So that FA Cup game against Man City in the
It's that
replay
game.
was the
That's the game.
2003-2004 season. Okay, that is before my time. I do not remember that one.
I mean, I've been ingrained to support Spurs really, so it's a family thing. So
Harry Redknapp's team, I just fell in love. Like that's how I got.
Redknapp, honestly,
and I also have
side for me is my favorite team. Like as in for me in my lifetime, I love that team so much. Yeah,
100%. Hey, real quick, you guys. So things are kind of winding down, and that's all good. We play this game though, called Keeper West Ham. We play it a lot. You're usually not here, and so there's a couple that I want to give you that I think are especially hard. Adrian, you might have already answered these, so if you have, don't worry. But I'm going to throw up a couple, and you've got to pick a player here, okay, bud? One stays, one goes to West Ham.
Okay.
Van der Vaart versus Eriksson.
I'm sending Eriksson to West Ham.
That was so quick. That was so quick. You didn't even have to think about it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've got more. We've got more tough ones. Again, I just want to see your answers to this because they're always funny.
Yeah. Oh,
Toby versus Yan.
This is probably unpopular, but I'd keep Toby.
Wow, that's totally different than what everybody else has said. So you're right. That is a little unpopular.
Honestly, Toyota Verod, I think, is one of the best in the halves I've seen play for Spurs, if I'm being honest. The guy was so good.
Toby?
Yeah, Toby was so good, honestly. Jan Vertonghen obviously was brilliant as well, but for me, I always used to prefer Alderweireld because I just thought the guy was so good. Yeah.
Wayne says keep Yan, but then my mom says Toby.
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
It's a close one.
Ones that are hard to get. Yeah.
Colin, I'm keeping Yan because has predicted a 4-2 win for Arsenal.
Fair, yeah. So let's go. We're not going to back anything he says. That's a good point. That's a very, very good point. Okay. So there's another one that I think is pretty tough here, but maybe you guys won't. And you've got to remember, this is players in their prime, so it's prime players.
Oh, this is an easy one for me. This is easy.
Really?
Yeah, I'm keeping Dembele, man. I'm sending Dembele to West Ham.
Okay. Dembele is a great player, and I totally get it. And
Dembele was honestly even when we sold him early that season, remember the 6 months before. Everyone says if we had.
How's
Dembele,
your sound good, Chris?
Yeah. Is it all good now?
Yeah, all good. Yeah, I had to reboot my laptop.
Right.
You was right. I had YouTube going on at the same time, so it was all over the place.
That'll drive you nuts.
You'll get double sound with like one voice over the other one. It was just like
yeah. So anyway. Chris, I'm making these guys play a little bit of Keeper West Ham. I noticed that some of them.
I know. I love that. I love this, but Alderweireld all day for me. I just saw.
He was,
it's Vertonghen for me, so that's crazy. They're both great, and they're very different, and I think that's why they were such a good pair. You know what I mean? It's because they were so different.
I think they're the best pairing I've seen, if I'm being honest, in my lifetime.
We were really lucky to have them for as long as we did. Really lucky. Here's another one, and you might have seen this one already, Chris, but Lamela versus Richarlison. They're both players that have a lot of, they both can do it on a good day, but there's not that many good days.
I'm keeping Richarlison.
Shit house. Wow. I'm Lamela all day. But what about you, Mr. Peters?
I would say Lamela.
Yes.
Only because he just turns up in some matches. Not all matches, not all the time, and also he's you can always see he fights for the team, fights for the club. He loved the club. So
stepped on Cesc Fabregas's hand, scored a Rabona in a North London derby, got a red card in the same.
At the bridge, Lamela was so lucky not to get sent off.
Yeah. Oh man, how did he not? The battle at the bridge, that was one of the best days. I know we lost that match. It was bad for our season, but I loved that game.
Yeah, I would go for Lamela, but because he's had more game time, and we've yet to see whether Richarlison's going to kick on. We all hope he does, obviously. We hope that this was I don't think he's got mental health issues. I just think it was psychological. I just think he was going through bad form and it was getting him down. I don't think. I think in his case, the mental health issue was a bit overhyped. I thought personally.
Because initially, Adrian, I thought it was like because the way it was worded in his statements and stuff, I thought it was like a big thing. And me and Carl on my channel, I definitely saw it. But we were discussing, thinking like this guy was going to be left out for a few weeks because it was like a serious thing, like very serious thing. But obviously, he's back in the team already, as in he came off the bench last game. So maybe
in my group, I said like the guy shouldn't be if he's got mental health issues. If they were mental health, he shouldn't even be in the squad. So the reports made it look. Football's always going to make a fool of you. It still does now to me. You know what I mean? I think I'm quite well versed in my long tooth period of supporting Spurs. But my Spurs immune system is pretty strong after being relegated in the 1976-77 season. I think bulletproofed. I'm bulletproof and following the team in the second division. I think I'm pretty bulletproof to all the goings on at Spurs, and there's never a dull moment. As soon as the first PR blunder happens and it clears up, the next one's on its way, don't you? You know what I mean? So like,
never a normal day.
The press, they have to write their headlines, everything blows up into something bigger than it really is. Here, this one too, guys. And if you've seen these, I apologize. I'm just trying to get your info.
No, that's okay.
That I don't feel like I've heard.
You know what? Oh no, this is a tough one, man. I think I'm gonna go Friedel, keep Friedel, and sell Gomez.
You got to remember how important Gomez was for the squad, though.
I know. This is why it's a tough one. Because
yeah. Friedel had longevity over Gomez for sure.
I think Friedel was he was very calm. Gomez on his good day, I think Gomez was better than Friedel, but on his bad day, he was just horrific. Like, honestly, Gomez could make the most amazing save in one game, and then the next minute,
and then to let a back pass go in.
yeah. Did you watch that game? Do you remember that game when he saved a penalty and he gave away a penalty straight after?
No, but I'm really not surprised. I'm really, really not surprised. But yeah, I mean, he made some amazing saves. And correct me if I'm wrong. He was our keeper the season that we made it back into the Champions League, right?
He made that, North London derby actually, because we're talking about it when we beat them 2-1 for the first time in like how many years was that? I can't remember in the Premier League. He made that incredible save from that Van Persie free kick. I remember. You
always got the feeling with Redknapp when he said, "Oh, Gomez is a good keeper." That he didn't really believe what he was saying. I always got that impression with him,
Redknapp, I love Redknapp though. I think he just came out and just said what he thought on the day.
The thing with Gomez was, remember that time he went up for a ball and someone crashed into him and hurt his ribs. After that, he lost a lot of confidence and he really wasn't good in the box area, collecting the balls and stuff like that. That's where
weird. Dang. Confidence. Okay, I'm learning things today. I hadn't heard about that.
Do you remember? Do you remember when Hoddle went in goal?
No, I don't remember that.
Wait, what? What is this?
We're away. No, this is 82, I think, or it was 81. It was one of the cup winning runs we was on. We're away to Man United in the FA Cup. People have written us off as usual. And actually what happened was Joe Jordan went up and smacked Milja Alexic in the jaw. Sorry, it was a Alexic. And so Hoddle had to go in goal. So now we're thinking, it's approaching like full time. I don't know if it was an extra time, actually. And you may have seen the Ardiles goal from the edge of the box.
Yeah, I've seen
angled shot into the roof of the net. And we won 1-0 at Old Trafford. One of our rare wins there. And then them little signs that I've seen. I've had the privilege to see these signs when teams have gone on and got over the line. And that's why getting over the line against Sheffield United that's why that sort of went, it clicked with me then. And I just thought, this is what we've done before when we got across the line when Perriman said about getting. This team was going to do things. This team will go places and it's going to be strengthened. It's going to get even better. So these are exciting times to be a Spurs fan.
Yeah.
And if I'm wrong, I'll be in the mud. Everyone will give it to me. You know what I mean? So,
hey, we got to go in. We got to go in with belief, I think. And Chris, we asked you before, but it was when you couldn't hear very well. Are you nervous for the derby tomorrow? How are you feeling? Confidence wise,
my wife and I have been more nervous than normal because it's
your wife is a Spurs fan too. That's beautiful.
God, yeah. She's from Puerto
God
Rico.
bless you, and bless you both.
since she come to England to join me 5 years ago, she even watches more YouTube about Spurs than me. She's like watching
That's awesome.
everything. So, you know, we're trying to watch as much as possible. She knows everything about Spurs. It's crazy. You know, her sister back in Puerto Rico is an Arsenal fan, so it's really annoying.
Ooh,
Yeah.
ooh, okay.
So
back in the day, I mean, you didn't have. I mean, I live in Edmonton next to Tottenham anyway. I'm only a mile and a half from the ground. But so, like, you back in the day, you didn't have Sky TV. You didn't have kids walking around Edmonton and Tottenham in an Arsenal shirt or Man United shirt, or they'd probably get lynched, right? But I mean, my induction was quite simple. You know, it was either be a Spurs fan or the orphanage. You know what I mean? So
Barnet.
That's what it was like. But that's what it was like back then. Don't forget, you had pockets of Arsenal and West Ham here and there, but Edmonton's Tottenham. You know, obviously Haringey's Tottenham. But you see, the thing is, even Tottenham now, you'll have your Man United and Liverpool fans because like kids grow up, so they want to support a successful team, don't they? You know, that's why you see the odd Barcelona shirt and whatever. You know, I mean Real Madrid. You know, so,
well, Adrian, back in the 70s, I used to live at Bruce Grove, so I was down the road as well.
Yeah, you're not far. Not far from the ground there. You're nearer than me if you're at Bruce Grove.
Yeah.
It's only what, 10-minute walk once you get past the Tottenham Courthouse Road and all that line. You're going further down there.
Yeah.
Whenever I go to London, I make sure to stay in Tottenham to get the full experience. And the full experience I do get going out at night, walking to the shops. You feel like you're in a little bit of danger.
You're a brave man.
I used to work in Tottenham actually, but
they told us not to go one block. They were like, "Hey, this is the last block." We talked to some locals. They're like, "Do not pass this block. It is unsafe." And we walked around, and I was like, if it wasn't such a crime to have protection on you, I would have brought, you know what I mean, something for myself. But the first time I was in Tottenham, I did have a knife pulled on me by the Park Lane boys. I think is what they called themselves.
Park Lane. Were they young kids then? Or?
Yeah, they sure were. And they thought that I was a cop, me and my friend. And I was like, this isn't 21 Jump Street. They're not sending American police over to get you guys. Like, you're fine. But yeah, so we kind of had to back away. And
well,
they were just showing off being silly. But that just shows I like how hard of an area Tottenham is. I'm from a pretty low income area myself, and so Tottenham, there's like a feeling of like home. You know what I mean? I feel welcome there. It feels like where I grew up. So
it's a tough area. Nice. The other day they're advertising for a rear gunner on a milk float. So like, you know. It's the match day experience so different now. I mean, the old stadium going back in the day, you'd queue up, you'd go on the ground, you'd stand even with aching legs. You know what I mean? And like you'd watch the game. You wouldn't be able to get a cup of Bovril or a cold pie or anything in the ground or some peanuts or whatever, and you'd be straight out the ground and you go. Now, it's a whole day's experience because you can still go to the pub, you can go in the stadium, you can stand in the fan zone, you can go in the back of the south stand, you can have drinks and have something to eat. Like you watch the game after the game.
Some of those bars are nice.
You know, it's a day out now, you know, if you haven't got to get in and out, if you're not coming too far and you've got to go to the ground and then get away straight away afterwards.
Get on a train. Yeah, right. If you have time to spend in the area, you're right. There is so much to do. Real quick, back kind of moving things a little bit back towards match tomorrow. My man, John Fitzpatrick, big up to John, Irishman in Australia, big Ange fan. But he says that we got to start Richie tomorrow, that he can lead the line in Sonny's and good at holding up the ball. What do you guys think about that statement there? He said, I don't know if this goes with it. Remember games against United? I don't think that might be a different. Yeah. Okay. There we go. But yeah. So with this comment here, do you guys agree? Disagree? I mean, I want Richie to play, but I kind of want him as a sub personally.
I play them both personally.
Oh,
that's
because
my front three is different for everyone else's though. So
what's your front three is?
Yeah, I'm writing stuff down.
I want to see Son, Richarlison, and Johnson.
Oh wow, you'd play Johnson. So for me, I think
Johnson
one of
right,
Johnson
Son
or
left, and Richarlison in the middle.
I think I would love to see, and it's not going to happen, but imagine Johnson and Solomon playing on each wing. Just the speed and terror that would cause. I don't even care who's in the middle at that point.
What about
Would be danger.
Yeah, personally, I'd play Solomon, Son. I'd still put Kulu in there just for backup for Porro, of course. You know, he does a lot of good tracking back, trying to win the ball with him.
I agree. I think Sar's also gonna, although he broke on the left-hand side to score that good goal. He made a good run for that goal against Man United into the box. He scored that from the left-hand side. If there's any question of Porro, and Ange is confident, then obviously you've got Kulu up there, and you've got Sar, who I think might have to come across a little bit on the right. Them two might have to cover for Porro. I'm not sure, but I would definitely play Kulu in case we need an out ball. We need an out.
Kulu can hold it all up. So exactly.
If we're really under pressure, you notice in a lot of the games, the players always look for Kulusevski. They do. They're always looking for that ball to the right. You know,
he always has the space. For some reason, they give him so much space.
And he's so good at retaining possession. He's I say this all the time, and I know it's probably sounds stupid, but he's Kane-like in the way that he uses his body to shield the ball. He can either shield the ball or draw the foul. He's really, really good at that. And
we're away,
releasing to somebody else.
Yeah, we're away, so I think Son will find the space in the middle. So I'd definitely play those two. Son on the left. Like I said earlier, if Kulu's playing wide left, he can always come in the centre for corners and free kicks and things like that. So on cut in, I wouldn't be bothered if it's Kulu or Solomon. I think Solomon's earned his place. If it was Richie or Solomon, I think Solomon's earned his place. But I think for the shithousery, I think you might see Richarlison on the left.
Adrian, do you think Richie is best off at the wings? I don't know. He just seems
I don't like him on the
wants to be in the centre.
Right?
He should be in the centre.
I understand that. I'm just being a bit conservative because Arsenal are very strong on their right. You've got Saka on the right. You've got.
I think Udogie takes care of Saka. I think
and then you've got Van der Ven as covering from him. But I'm just thinking. You know, I've seen Udogie bomb forward near the penalty area, all depending where players are at a particular time. If a ball comes out, you might want a Richarlison, if he's on the left, to be the one, you know, that prevents an Arsenal attack if Udogie is not in position. Because Udogie in Nigeria, he played as a playmaker as well, you know, in Nigeria.
I did not know that.
Yeah. I mean, I only read that the day before yesterday. I read it somewhere from a...
It makes sense with the way that he plays and how technical he is. Yeah, I mean, he's technical. He's good on the ball.
Like
so
he could play anywhere. He's playing that well, you know.
Yeah.
So remains to be seen. I mean, he's a tank, and
Do you think he'll be a bit more conservative tomorrow though, because of Saka?
No.
I think the Postecoglou will have specifically said don't play conservatively. You know what I mean? I think we're going to go out and maybe play the most intense that we've played all season.
That's why I think Solomon will start. That's what I think. But I wouldn't be surprised if Richie is one of the front three. But he's not gonna like.
I think Richie
and Kulu plays definitely. The way I see it.
Personally, I'll tell Richie to wind up Saliba all game. Personally, that's my game plan. Just being his ear all games, and then just get him sent, and so he gets sent off.
He may go back to Son on the left and Richie in the middle. It wouldn't surprise me if Richarlison's one of the front three rather. But like. Porro will play because he's just
play as well.
Yeah, I mean that forward ball to Sonny for that goal in Burnley. I mean Emerson couldn't do that in 1,000 days, could he? You know what I mean?
No, never.
On the other side, if Richie is too fired up, he might get sent off. Who knows?
That's so true.
I don't know. I think
how much he complains to the ref. He'll get a yellow. He'll get a yellow for complaining about a call for sure.
Usually, when you get the sending off, usually because the players got through. And it's been a mistimed tackle from behind. But we got so much pace now at the back that I don't see them mistimed tackles from behind. I see more of a brutal tackle from the front than I do from behind. You know what I mean? But I mean,
missed the game on.
Yeah.
Charlie
I'm not-
Adams can go do one. I hate that guy. I'm so glad that he doesn't
I
play
was
anymore.
there. Like, that tackle was horrific. Honestly, it
That was his whole thing, was horrific tackles. He's like, oh, I'm just gonna go out and hurt people. I
It
hated
was
that
so
guy.
bad. Like, it was. If VAR was that existed back then.
Everybody, cover your ears so you don't hear my bad words. But fuck you, Charlie Adams. All right. So back to the game. Sorry, I just had to get that out there. I really, really don't like that guy.
Did you see Darren Bent's 11? He picked 11.
Yeah.
Darren Bent can go do one.
Even
Too.
I
What an
picked
idiot.
5. You know, I mean, my team. I picked Vicaria because I just think he's going to be a quality goalkeeper. But I think mine was
100%.
fairer than his. I mean, I went Udogie, Romero, Saliba, White, and then I had Madison and Basuma in midfield with Odegaard, and then up front I just had Son, but I had Martinelli and Saka. So we had.
That would be quite an attacking midfield. That'd be good though. I mean, that would be great.
I put Trossard
I think
ahead of Saka. That's just my opinion.
Mm.
When
I put Rice. I put Rice ahead of Odegaard too for us. But
I'd put Rice ahead of Basuma. That's just my opinion. I think
Dang,
I'd play
man.
Rice, Madison, and Odegaard. That's my 3 at least for the combined.
wow, Chris.
Because I couldn't leave out Odegaard or Madison, so I have to put them both.
Yeah, I put
And I
both
couldn't
in.
leave out
I put
Rice,
both.
so I have to leave out Basuma.
Dang, Chris, what do you think? Basuma or Rice? If you had to choose one of the two players for you,
Oh,
for your team?
Basuma for me all day
So
long.
he's been
Thank you.
outstanding.
Yes, wonderful. He's been outstanding. You know, outrageously good.
Yes,
His confidence seems like it's way up here. You know, I don't know if I've ever seen him playing this well.
I'm
This
just
might be the form
gutted
of his life.
last year. I'm just gutted last year that he, couldn't have
Wasted a
done
year,
what he's
basically.
done under Conte and shown what he's about, and loaned him out. Yeah, but he wouldn't have changed anything from last year.
It's strange, though, isn't it? You know, we really missed Bentancur. Our season fell apart when he went. But looking back now, it's a good job it fell apart. If we wouldn't have Ange. You know what I mean?
I think tactically, though, there is a difference. We have Madison this season also, so naturally we have more of the ball because he's
he'll find pockets of space.
And also, we've changed to a 3 in midfield. Obviously, last season we struggled because we played 2
Thank
against.
God. Yeah, we were coming against 3 in midfield every game because they knew that we only had the 2, and so we were open, and that's why we had everything had to go, through the wings. Really,
and this is the thing for me. I think the whole game tomorrow is about what's happening down the wings and who's going to win it in midfield. Midfield battle is that's all it's all about.
Midfield.
Do you think whoever Arsenal plays as their third midfield is important because they've got Rice and Odegaard guaranteed to start? But then there's always debate about in Arsenal fan base because obviously I was on the stream yesterday. And Smith Rowe.
I gotta use the restroom. I'll be right back, guys. Everybody, you guys share. You're all in charge. Be good.
Okay. Yeah, I was saying because they have obviously Smith Rowe, Vieira, and Havertz as options as a third midfielder, unless I'm missing someone else.
I like Smith Rowe. What I see of him before he got injured. Quick feet. He scored a nice goal. Quick goal around the edge of. Forget who they were playing. That was like last season before he got injured. I thought. I said my best mate Dave, who's Arsenal. He went. I said he's a good player, and then I ain't seen much of him. I'm not
had
sure.
Injuries, I think, and he's back now.
I don't know if he's game ready. How much game time he's had? I think if you've paid 60 million for Havertz, I think there's a good chance he starts. So we know it's going to be Rice and Odegaard. Odegaard's a superb player, and I mean, so. You know it's going to be them two. The question of third man. They know our third man's going to be Sarr, right? And it's right. Just keep blooding them and let them gain experience.
I don't think there's any reason to change on midfield. To be honest,
he's got a fantastic engine on him, Sarr. And look at Madison. Like, he finds space, doesn't he? And he finds them pockets of space. And even if you close him down, he's a much better player than I ever thought he was. When he comes to Spurs,
I prefer Madison to Eriksen personally, but
and then he'll drift wide left, and if he can't, he'll pull a player with him when he drifts wide left, so then he can lay it off to someone like where that player's moved from. One of their players has moved into that space, and he'll lay the ball off. I just think he's got a good
super intelligent.
Madison's the baller, as they say nowadays.
Yeah, he really is. And you said that he's better than Eriksen. You like him better than Eriksen. I don't know skills-wise if he's better necessarily, but he has more confidence and more like belief in his game.
Also,
I think
he's more
until he
involved in the
tries.
game. I find personally, I think
He's
he's more
not.
involved.
He's
He
not
seeks the ball
frightened.
out.
Yeah, he's not
Yeah.
frightened to be challenged. I've seen Ericsson
Yeah.
bottle out a tackle.
And I've seen Madison. I think last game he did a slide tackle or something to get the ball, get a shift. I never saw Ericsson do anything like that.
No,
Oh no, never.
he never
Especially
got
his last,
physical.
especially
He
his
was
last
always
season or
worried
two.
about getting
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think Ericsson, for me, used to check out of games a lot personally. That's just my opinion. Even in his good years, sometimes he'll just check out of games for like 45 minutes.
But then he'll just pop up and score a
Anyway,
goal.
I
in the
know.
89th.
But like Madison, to me, even he obviously scores these goals, but I feel like he's always involved. Like when I watch him play,
Madison wants to always be involved. Which
he
I
always wants the
love.
ball. He's like screaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Suma's the same as well. He always wants the ball. There's no hiders there, you know. And Sarr
it's nice
just
because
goes,
in
"Look,
the
get on there,
past,
I'm gonna do all the dirty work."
in the past, we have had a team full of hiders. Very, very, very glad to have this man on the squad.
I've wanted him for Tottenham since probably like 2019, probably earlier, maybe.
Yeah, I mean we've been calling for him ever since we missed out on Jesus, what's the dude's name?
Bruno?
City? No, the Jack Grealish. Ever since we missed out on him from Villa, yeah. I've wanted Madison, but Madison, I used to hate the guy because he was a very whenever he was younger, he was just kind of a arrogant douchebag from what I had heard. And but I mean, you're a young professional football player. You've got tons of money. People know who you are. I get it. You know, I think he was probably like 18 at the time. So I probably ought to just forgive him for that. But yeah, as soon as we missed out on Grealish, I was like, hey, we need Madison. To me, they're very similar players.
Obviously, like there's a lot of debate because of the England team, right? You got Madison, Grealish. Obviously, Mason was playing as a number 10 at that point. So there was a lot of debate about who? Sorry,
Foden.
Yeah, another one. But as in like who should play there, I was the Madison advocate from then. So like I'm so happy when we signed him. I liked him for so long.
He seems to have matured, a bit like Grealish. That first time when they bought him at Man City, I didn't rate. I thought, he ain't having the greatest of season. Last season, he looked good. He did look good last season, Grealish. I got to admit, he looked.
He's looking good. He's looking good so far this season. I
haven't watched him.
He's already found Holland a couple times for some important goals.
I actually Madison's better, but that's just my opinion. And it's nothing to do with him playing with Spurs, but I just think he's better.
They're slightly different players, I think. You know what I mean? I don't think Madison is as much of a dribbler as Grealish is. You know what I mean? I don't.
Yeah, he can still dribble though. I think.
Yeah, but Grealish like is purposefully dribbling and like looking to get caught. Get the foul. Yeah. Madison doesn't play that game as much, I don't think. But
he has played wide for Leicester though before, hasn't he, Madison?
Good question. But I don't.
I think he played wide for a bit. Like Ericsson used to
he
play
could do it
sometimes. Like it was that sort of thing. Yeah.
I'm sure he could do it. We see him move around so much.
He's so much better than
currently. I just like this free roll. It seems like he's almost been given the AVB Bale free roll.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where he can kind of just go wherever. Do you kind of agree with that?
Yeah.
Pity our England man didn't do the same thing with him.
I mean, it's Gareth Southgate, so I don't know what you're expecting.
How much longer? So yeah, not to harp on this, but guys, how much longer is Gareth Southgate going to keep that job? I don't think he's done enough.
As long as he says yes to the FA, I think he's keeping the job. I just think
wild to me.
I think
England nobody better.
So many politics in it as well.
He's an FA yes man. That's it.
Should know Jack Grealish? Interesting, bring his name up. So before he went to Man City, the guy couldn't get into the England team, and then he goes to Man City. Suddenly, he gets picked. I just think it's all politics. I don't. It's like, come on, Grealish should have been in England side well before. So like Madison as well. It took him how long to get into the England team when he should have been in there for like 3 years ago, maybe earlier. I don't know. It's just I just don't believe they get picked based on the talent or
actual merit. It's what team you play for, how much attention you're going to bring with you. What the hell is that about? That is bonkers to me. He must have dirt on.
I always said it. He's just a head.
It's massive. Yeah, he must have some info in there.
Listen, Dele Alli had the better stats than Lampard or Gerrard for a young player of his age with goals and all that. And now he's at Everton. If he plays 7 more games, they've got to give us 10 mil. So he's obviously going to come back. He'll obviously play 7 games. They're going to use him. He is a talent. He's got to get a tune out of him. You know, if he's got over his issues, we'll leave that there. I'll part that there. But if he's got over his issues, they've got a cheap player off us. But we needed to clear out people like, you know, we were becoming like, you know, the little retirement home down the road for some of these players. We can just
The
steal
island of misfit toys.
I think with Delhi, and I know this is a weird comparison because but it's kind of on topic. So, like with Havertz, to me in Delhi, I see them as quite similar players. I know you think I'm mad, but I see Havertz as like a second striker. Like if you're going to get the best out of him, use him as a second striker. I don't think Arteta is using him correctly. And same with Delhi. I used to view Delhi as like a second striker. He'd play off Kane.
Yeah,
so if Delhi's going to succeed, they kind of have to build a team around him.
You remember on that? It's a good point, Az, because like when Son come, when we got him off Leverkusen, when he come after the first season under Poch, he wanted to leave.
I remember because he wasn't playing.
And Poch tweaked the system more to suit Sonny. And Delhi got pushed, instead of playing as the second striker with Kane or close to him as the number 10. To me, like we always do with skillful players when English coaches don't know what to do with them, they always put them on the left. They put him wide on the left. So don't get me wrong, it worked against West Ham when he was lying on the deck. We put that ball through on the floor and we scored a goal. And we all love it when we do them as well. But like, I just thought his game suffered a bit. And I also thought, stop trying to nutmeg every player every game. Focus on the game, You're too talented to like showboat, do it if someone's wound you up once now and again, you know what I mean? Or do it when we're winning 5-0, But
I used to love Delhi at the beginning. His first 2 years, I would love Delhi.
Oh man, and his attitude, and he's the type of player that you hate when he's not on your team.
Yeah, and I think he got that contract, and he got picked for England, and then the rest is history.
Yeah.
Well, he was getting picked over all them others for England. He was getting picked.
I'm not saying he did deserve it, but afterwards, it's like he got to his ego in his head. He got to like the pinnacle, and then
the question is though. The question: if he's got his head back on, would you want him back at Spurs in this system?
I would.
I don't know, because it was confusing. Like as was saying about Eriksen at times. At times, Eriksen would do the most running on the pitch throughout a game, and you wouldn't think he had watching him play, because sometimes he looked a bit casual standing around. I don't know much. To me, Dele Alli, I don't think he does enough running or closing down to suit an Ange system. I mean, I don't know how much running he did, but to me, he was very effective when he was good. If you're banging in goals and under Poch and you finish second, third, fourth in the league and all that, like no one's going to criticize you, right? Too quickly, I don't think. I don't know if he's got the work. He can make things happen. He can certainly make things happen on the pitch with a pass and all that. Like.
I hate to use this word, but I think he's a luxury player.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I think Havertz,
like you were saying, I think you have to build the team around him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You need to set it up that you need to set it up that they're making those late runs in, chasing. And
you're kind of like compensating in some other way that he won't do.
The two headers against Chelsea were brilliant.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
I was at work that day and I was watching on my phone.
I remember going to that game, so
I was losing my mind. I was working at Papa John's Pizza. And I was cutting up peppers with this little cutter we had, and I had the game right here. I lost it. Like I was like, "Oh my god!" And everybody there just was like, "What's going on?" Like no one knew I was watching it, of course. And yeah, it was awesome. There were customers in the store. It was great. But
that was a good night at the Lane. It was the last season, I think, wasn't it? Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Eriksen, I think, got the assist that day. I remember.
Yeah, I think he might be correct.
Son scored the first goal at the stadium. Didn't Eriksen get the second one?
You mean this guy?
Yeah. Didn't Eriksen got a second? I bet Harry Kane was probably pissed off he didn't get it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But now
Harry Kane doesn't. I think Palace. Yeah.
And
Harry doesn't seem to.
The other thing Sorry, Adrian. Go on.
No, I'm rabbiting on too much anyway. Go on, Chris.
I'll say the other thing a lot of people are talking about is Kulu may be able to play in the middle.
Yes, please.
What's thoughts on that?
I've been praying for this since we've changed system. Literally, if you ask Marlon, every game we go on View from the South, right? After the game, I'm like, move Kulu into the middle. I think he's struggling on the right. Literally, every rewatch every one. You probably see me saying that. And if you go watch,
he doesn't have the.
And it's
my bad. I didn't mean to. Yeah, I was going to say that I don't think he has the passing range that Madison has for sure. So it would be a lot more like short passes. Players come into him for like 1-2s. I think. I just don't think he's got the passing range on him.
The range,
So we'd have to adjust a little bit.
But he's got such good vision and a good short, incisive passing range. Against Shakhtar he put that like it was in the number 10, where me and Haz would like to see him play in the future. And he put that ball through for Kane's 4th goal, I think it was, and it was a slide rolled forward pass. And I thought, you can do this, you know. I know on the view from the South Stand, I know that the other Haz and Marlon are not the biggest Kulusevski fans, but I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan. But they're entitled to
how old is he, Adrian, again? Is he 22 or 23?
23, I think, now.
Yeah. But like what I'm saying is you can easily convert.
Third youngest team in the league now. I mean, you've got Sarr. Believe it or not, we bought him so young that now he qualifies as a homegrown player next season because he'd been registered with us 3 years, right, next season. But he's been farmed out to France and all that. But as long as you registered a player, he's your player registered in your local league. He counts as homegrown.
Oh,
so
that Chris, did you know that? I wasn't aware.
And that's why when we got all these youngsters coming through now, especially the under-17s and 18s that won the 2 cups last year, a lot of the players played in both League Cup finals there anyway. Mikey Moore did anyway. He's fantastic. He's only 16 now. He only turned 16 in summer. But I mean, like so if we get in foreign youngsters like Santiago, we've got there.
I love that name. Sorry.
Yeah.
Santiago.
It reminds me of Goal. You know, Goal.
I watched the game when we beat Colchester 5-0 and Spurs played during the week, right? And like Donny got. But if we've got foreign players in, the good thing about that is if they do even if they don't make it, not all of them will, right? But if some of them foreign players make it and they're classed as homegrown, we'll get a lot more money for them selling them onto local teams in the UK than we will
Bournemouth
because we know that there's a big shortage of quality homegrown players, you know, because you only have to have 8 and most teams have got the 17 foreign quota. But now when Dyer goes and Lloris goes, that'll free up another 2 foreign quota places because Dyer's qualified as foreign from his time in Portugal.
Yeah.
So you've got them 2. If Lo Celso goes, that's 3, you know, and like. So we're going to be fine for homegrown. So now you'll have Sarr. That's why we'll keep Skip. You'll have Sarr, Skip, Madison, and Brennan Johnson. That'd be 4 quality homegrown, which is what you want, you know, minimum. You know, back in when we had in the Poch era, we had 6, didn't we? Because we had Dele, Kane,
Dyer. Dance doesn't count, does it?
Dyer, Winks. Walker and Rose.
Oh yeah, Walker and Rose. Yeah.
So we had 6, and that's what you want. You want about 5 or 6 because if you've got to put 3 in through the academy, well, if they're not under, you know, the under 21, so that's good for us. Sarr being homegrown, you know, next year.
Yeah, this homegrown rules and you know before they're 21 and how many years and stuff is like so confusing to me, but
it's BS though, isn't it?
They do it because they try and force the clubs to play English players. Basically.
Yeah, I'm all for it.
I understand that, but you know, bringing foreign players.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
There before a certain age.
And it's like how do you grow them? Do you put like miracle? Do we need to put some like potting soil, miracle grow? How are we growing these players?
Well, all the new additions we've brought in, they look like they've been put in a grow bag when they're young. They're all units, aren't they? Kulu's a unit, right? Udogi's a unit. Sar's a unit. Van der Ven's a unit. They're all. I mean, Conte wanted big players. He wanted big built players, you know.
Well, I saw Sarr when we first brought him in. I thought he looks a bit wafy to me, but I don't know. Last couple of years, he seems to have buffed up a bit. So,
and he's strong. Like you can just tell he's strong. He does have like skinny arms and legs. You know what I mean? But I think that there must be a lot of core strength in there or something because he doesn't get pushed off the ball. You know, he's very good at it
as well.
I think his ceiling is so high. Honestly, Sarr.
He's always looking forward.
Sarr took penalties. He shoots them outside the box. I've seen him score. He's got good vision. He moves the ball quickly. When he's in defensive mode, this guy's got such a ceiling. he reminds me a bit sometimes when defensive round here. He reminds me a little bit, and it's a good name to compare him with, Patrick Vieira.
I know. I've heard a lot of people say this. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a bit. When he's on the ball, just
I can see what you're saying. I can see what
you
you're
could
saying.
give the ball to Patrick Vieira, and he could be surrounded by players, and he'd come out with it. You know what I mean? It was just, and I just think Sarr's got that. He's got that. He's special. It's special. We're all raving about Basuma and Madison, and understandably so. But Sarr, he is.
I think he can be anything. That's the thing for Sarr.
He's so good at releasing the ball quick.
Number 8, number 10. He'll get forward. You know, he could be the forward attacking midfielder, a Frank Lampard, Stevie Gerrard type player. You know,
I talk about that, Adrian. I think Basuma is like the new Don Bello for us.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. He never loses the ball. It's amazing.
And what
Dembele was my favorite Tottenham player ever. By the way,
quick reverse turn he does and loses a play, and then the pitch opens up for him. He's either got room to charge into, or then he lays off a brilliant ball. You know what I mean? So like, and that mazy run into the box against Sheffield United. I mean, like, and he's doing like nutmegs round the outside the penalty area, putting it through players' legs. He's just losing them like that, isn't he? You know that. You've got to be so quick in your thinking and legs. You've got a quick feet to do what he does as well. You know, I mean, no, he's fantastic.
His close control is his biggest strength, I think.
Yeah.
Well, and just the fact that he's constantly got his head up and looking forward for a pass. He wants to release the ball quick. You know what I mean? And that's good. He doesn't dawdle on the ball and in possession. Real quick, you guys, I'm changing the subject a tiny bit for a sec. We've been talking about Arsenal quite a bit, obviously, for good reason. I'm going to kind of tie this back into them, but we have had a great start to the season. Everyone will agree to that. But I found this graphic that shows the strength of the schedule of each team that has played. And you see Tottenham there almost at the very bottom. We've had the second easiest schedule, supposedly, out of all the Premier League teams so far. Do you think that we're getting too ahead of ourselves with the excitement? Or do you think, because Arsenal had a very similar run in at the beginning of the season last season, and they got those wins and they got confidence and they, eventually fell off, of course. But I don't know, do you think we're going to use this to build a run and to start, a good run of form? Or do you think that once these tougher games come in that we might see the wheels fall off a bit?
I think it all depends on also, like for me, I wouldn't say we're in title race until we're week 20 something, if we're still around there, personally. I think it's the first season as well, so I think people talk about the title. I think it's just ridiculous, personally.
Not gonna happen. No, never.
It's just not gonna happen unless something crazy happens and like we actually sign some players in January maybe or something.
We get Gift Orban in and he scores 30 goals. And,
it's a big ask. I just think that's a bit unrealistic. But I do think we can make Europe. I think that's more than a possibility from what I've seen so far.
Chris, what do you think before I rant on this? Go on. What do you think?
Oh, sorry, I missed the chat. I had to pop off and
No, you're good.
So
we're talking about strength of schedule and how Tottenham have had the second easiest, according to this graphic here. Have had the second easiest run in so far this season. So I'm saying, are we getting a little overly excited about how well we're doing this season? Are the wheels going to fall off a bit when we play the tougher teams, or are we going to use this to kind of springboard us into some good form and to continue winning, do you think?
Well, we've got, Arsenal and Liverpool coming up next. There's going to be, the real point we go, where are we? Where are we going forward? How are we going to be? And, of course, new manager, whole new system, whole new team. I'm not hedging my bets we're going to get into the top 4. I'm going to say probably 5, 6 maybe, because there's going to be times when you're going to lose key players to injuries and things like that. I'm not going to say we're going to really do well this year, but I'm looking forward to next year. If we get the summer purchases that Ange wants, I'm looking forward to next year, not this year. I'm just saying it's a building year. Let Ange do his stuff for now. Let Ange, hello, Kat. Let Ange do his stuff. Let him just get who he wants and make sure the teams are working together in the way he wants them to work. Get his CB, and then next year we'll kick on. This year, I'm just going to say it's going to be a fun year. And
Definitely.
hopefully there's going to be some good times, but we know there's going to be some bad times. Apart from Man City, I can't see anyone winning a lot, really, as we all know. So, yeah, this year I'm just going to enjoy it.
Put Richie's comment up,
100%.
Colin. Put Richie's comment up. I'm agreeing with Richie in the chat.
He says, I don't really see Brentford away and Man United as an easy run-in. Agreed.
Put
And
the
then he
next
said,
one
how
up.
the hell did they come up with this anyway?
Yeah, I'm with
Great
you,
question.
Rich, mate, all the way. Who comes up with this crap, right? Honestly. I mean, you look at the teams down there that we've played, even the lesser teams or the less wealthier teams, you don't want to put them down in the Premier League. They don't stay in the Premier League on their away form. They stay in the Premier League on their home form. And they take big scalps. And it's always some big sensational, like hyped up story, which the media like to run when one of the top
Oh my God, they love it.
loses a game, right? They were saying that when we played this chart, I think, was coming up when we'd played 3 away games and 1 home game against Man United, right? And you look at it and you're going like, well, hang about. Brentford went to Bournemouth. Chelsea went to Bournemouth. They couldn't win there. And we won there. You know, I mean, who's going to go to Brentford who didn't? Did they lose a game last season at home? I don't think they did. So, or they might have lost 1, right? So, like,
I'm honestly not sure. Yeah,
this is rubbish, and it makes me wonder. You know, the agenda of the person who like posts this, because there's obviously an agenda to it, right?
Yeah, it says at the top here. I can kind of read it. Every team's strength of schedule for the first 5 Premier League games, using the average Opta power rankings of each team to measure fixture difficulty. So yeah, there's a lot of subjectivity to this.
Yeah, the key is fixture difficulty. How's that calculated?
Yeah, good, very good question. Again, I just thought
How do you calculate fixture difficulty? When Man United were coming to us, all the pundits were writing us off, and we beat them 2-0. We went away to Brentford, first match of the season. All the pundits wrote us off because Brentford are good at home. Spurs be lucky to come away with a point or whatever it is, and we should have won that game, right? So, I mean, like this. You'll get it every week. They'll have this supercomputer predicting results, and when it gets it wrong, the computer changes its mind next week when the next set of results are. Then it changes its mind next week, the week after that, and you know, people are only happy if it's saying what they want to see. You know, it's just rubbish. I mean, and I'm always on. There is an anti-Spurs agenda out there, and whoever compiled that is definitely anti-Spurs, in my opinion.
or anti teams at the top of the table in general. You know what I mean? I think
looking at now, you're looking at like Man City, Arsenal, and then Spurs and Liverpool fighting for the 3rd and 4th spot. You know, I don't see Man United turning it around. I think they're going to go for a bit more turmoil with their manager and players before now. Newcastle started poorly. Brighton looked good, you know. But who else? West Ham, they've actually not done too bad, actually. They've started quite well.
Which upsets me. You know, I don't like them. But
Chelsea can't score goals at the moment, you know. They bought all the players.
Makes me happy.
They bought up most of the world's players.
Like, Pochettino.
I think Chelsea look like chaos. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, who do you think is going to be the first manager? Who's the first manager to get the sack this season?
I think there's a difference. I know.
What's Ten Hag?
I was a difference for me between Poch's time at Tottenham and compared to Poch's time at Chelsea already that I've seen is that when he did his cull of the squad at Tottenham is that he already had a foundation in place just to work around. It's almost like when I look at Chelsea, I don't know what they're trying to do. It's like who's the spine of the team? It's just very confusing to me. I'm just like who's the. Of course, I have Enzo. They've got Caicedo. They've got Lavia. They've got all these players, but I don't know who the spine is of the team. When I look at them, I'm just so confused. I don't know what he's trying to do.
Where's the madness? Why couldn't they get a tune out of a matey that went from Everton to Man United and then to Italy and back to Italy again?
Lukaku.
That's it, Lukaku. They need a centre forward. Why can't they get a tune out of him?
Apparently, Poch wanted to try him, but
he would be perfect for them up there. That's what they need. I mean,
Poch wanted to try him, but then he wanted.
Do you remember when
Isn't Cuckoo with them yet? He must be with them.
He's
now.
injured.
He's injured.
Oh.
He's a great
yeah.
player though. I've watched a lot of him. Yeah.
That will change everything. You're right. That's going to change their season.
No,
As soon
But
as
at the
they get
same
him back
time,
to
it
better.
might not because I don't know where they're going to put him. Like they don't have a striker. When I look at, I don't know I know this Jackson's playing, but I don't know. I just when I look at, I don't know what they're trying to do. At least at Tottenham, when Poch was here, because he had limited options, maybe it's different. So like he kind of had the base, then he just added around it and changed the style. That's how I look at it. I'm not saying he did a bad job. I'm just saying this is how I saw it because he's only signed like 4 or 5 players that someone with Alderweireld and Trippier, and he just added to like kind of what. And we got rid of more players than we added, basically. But Chelsea's like they got rid of 10 and they signed 10, so I'm even more confused because it's like, so who's your best team? I don't know. I don't think even he knows. Yeah.
I in a way, I feel I like Poch, and I do feel a bit of sympathy for him because before, like at Spurs, we didn't go and splash out loads of money, so he sort of picked the players and blended the team. At Chelsea, he's had loads of players dumped on him, and like I don't think he's keen on that Mudryk, who's looked okay, a bit flashy and skillful and all that, like. But Solomon kept Mudryk out of that Shakhtar Donetsk side. Now I don't know if it's through injury or whatever, but I think Solomon played over him when he was there. So I mean,
I believe you're correct. Yes,
how good Mudryk is. I mean, I don't watch too much. If I'm watching football, it's foreign teams, it's highlights on YouTube, So, but I'm not. I can't be asked.
I thought they got Gallagher as well.
Centric,
Central midfielders.
Yeah.
True, Gallagher's a hell of a player.
And also, I thought the biggest loss to Chelsea, where a lot of the balls went through him, was losing Rudiger. I thought Rudiger was very.
Kante, they sold Kante. Kante's gone now as well.
That is another big change.
But he wasn't games because he was dropped for a What was his name? Rodrigo.
Rodri.
No, Rodri's at Man City, isn't he?
You're right. Yeah.
The guy that scores the penalties for him, I think it's Rodrigo, isn't it?
You're probably right. Yeah.
There's so many players I've lost count.
Yeah. Same. Okay, you guys, really quick. It's coming up on 2 hours, so I'm probably going to start wrapping up. Real quick, I want to read 60's comment. 60, I've never seen you in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. We do this daily, so you can come hang out with us every day if you'd like. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, please, and the bell. And then
well said, 60. Well said, mate.
But yeah, I was going to say exactly. There's been an agenda from the media to get Harry moved on. They've always done it. They talk Spurs down. All we've heard all week is how Arsenal are going to thrash us. Sick of these mugs. 100% agree. What is it? Maybe real quick, you guys that have been around longer can explain to me what is it because we're a decent team and they're like threatened?
The only thing I see it is that obviously they have the traditional top 4. So they have Liverpool, Arsenal, Man United, and who was the other team? Yeah, I'm saying before. So every other team is like, because if you look at the punditry, they're all pretty much those teams. But every other team just gets slated, basically.
There's not many. Sorry, I was there's not many Spurs pundits. That's all.
There's a few, but
Genus, but
like
Jermaine Genus.
Yeah, I don't really like Genus as a pundit. I didn't really
used to be Hoddle on BT.
Yeah. But yeah, it's heart attack and
yeah.
I
thought he was gonna die during the Champions League semifinal. Oh my gosh, I was scared. But yeah. So Chris, what do you think is the reason for the agenda against Spurs?
Oh, it's just like the whole of the media are all like Manchester United, Arsenal, Liverpool, and that's it really. Man City now, of course, have come on board. And it's all the people that are working behind that are actually for those teams. And of course, as has just said, it's about the history of the Premiership with all those big teams. And they don't want anyone to break into it, the top 4. They don't want anyone else to be there.
It goes deeper than that, like with Spurs and Arsenal. The hatred goes to how Arsenal got into the first.
Oh yeah,
I know the story.
Coming from Woolwich,
and
we should have been promoted.
Arsenal
and
they paid their way to get promoted, basically.
Arsenal were lying 6th in the second division, and they got promoted, and Spurs got relegated. Right? They thought Spurs would start and they'd bring the next 4 teams up or whatever. The story. I have to go back and check that history and that myself again. But also, they moved from Woolwich to Highbury. which everybody thought would affect crowds in a day, which it didn't, because there was no other sort of like entertainment out there apart from the local cinema or whatever, you know. There was no TVs as such, you know. So, and then you have the historical reason in London why fans all hate Spurs. I mean, like, you've got the Arsenal Spurs North London rivalry naturally. You got Chelsea because we beat them 2-1 in the FA Cup final in 1967. You got QPR because we beat them in the FA Cup final, and then you've got the fact, and West Ham, which is really sad. West Ham fans actually, when the fixtures come out at the beginning of the season, they look up to where they'd love to somehow overtake us. They've always tried to look up to us and try and overtake, and they're obsessed with Spurs. They hate us. They're obsessed. They call it their cup final when they play us.
Adrian, why is this the case? Do you maybe know more than me? I don't understand it personally, because I know we're both in London, but
and I think we're the closest. They maybe probably see us as the closest team to them. I think.
No, Millwall's really Millwall's their rival, wasn't it? West Ham versus Millwall was meant to be like the big.
That was the original
big rivalry between them that goes back, you know.
Green Street, reminds of Green Street. But anyway.
Well, they're saying that bird flies. Arsenal are close. The ground is closer to West Ham than Tottenham's, so I don't know if that's true.
You know, I work like near there because I work in Angel, so I'm like down the road from Highbury.
So basically, you got the main rivalry with Chelsea, Arsenal, and West Ham with us, and QPR because but then like it became fashionable, and also now we go into where the race card is played, right? Spurs traditionally had a very strong Jewish following. And back in the day then, listen, I mean, it still happened, the gas hissing and all that at the Spurs ground and singing Auschwitz and gassing the Jews and all that stuff was coming out round the ground. So you had it was, you know, it was a bit like the UK. It's probably different to America, but like every time you got a new influx of people coming to the country, whether they were Bangladeshis, whether they're Indians, whether they were Jewish, even when the Irish first come over here to work, you'd have on the pubs doors, no Irish. And they were called white niggers, right?
Really?
And landladies, they would put cards in a window, no Irish. This was landladies, no Irish, because I'm sick and tired of them coming home pissed, probably spewing up or whatever it is, you know what I mean? Or whatever, like. And
wow.
My brother's married to an Irish woman, you know what I mean? So like, you had all that as well. So there was a lot of, I mean, racism was thick in those days. If you go and look at some of the old programs, you'd never get away with Mind Your Language, and some of them programs you see now, like they just
Loved by the Neighbour.
Yeah, they just wouldn't be politically correct, you know. But as kids growing up, you didn't think nothing of it because it was just like it was the culture you were brought up in. Even though it was, you look back and you think, well, that wasn't too clever, you know. But that's what it was. So there was a lot of, and even now, you know, it goes back like. Rival fans don't like us singing Yid songs or chanting Yid chants. The club have given up now because the whole stadium sings them now. Like you're at Brentford or you're at Arsenal game, like, you know, we're Yids, but you know we don't. I remember, short story. We were taken to court in 2013. I remember, and the case was thrown out because the judge says Spurs fans' usage of the Y word was not blasphemous, threatening, and whatever, and it certainly wasn't anti-Semitic. And then the lefties out there who had nothing to do with football got it brought up in Parliament at the time. And then Prime Minister David Cameron said the same thing. It got thrown out, right? And then it moved on again, right? To police actually arrested 3 fans, I recall, because I remember taking great interest in this. I think one was at West Ham, and 2 were against FC Sheriff when we played them in Europe. Since that moment, when the Crown prosecution turned around to the police and said, look, don't do this anymore. Well, these people have got no case to answer. What they're doing is not, it would be self-deprecating to do it if you were doing it as an insult anyway. You'd be like insulting yourself. So they said, this is not threatening, abusive, and it's not anti-Semitic. And since that day, the police said they can only act if a member of public comes to them. But since then, even further, the word Yid under the long list of descriptive narratives in the English Oxford Dictionary, under the word Yid, you'll also find at the time the club moaned about this, but they want everything squeaky clean and sanitised at the stadium to attract business, you know. And under the word Yid, it says player or supporter of Tottenham Hotspur. So the fox has been shot out now for all the lefties. And look, it didn't help when David Baddiel, or Chelsea supporters, coming up and complaining about it, because we know his agenda, don't we? Straight away, like whether he admits it or not. And like And the other thing that got me about all this, when people are turning on Spurs, they were bringing this race card up perennially. It was every year when we were away to West Ham, Chelsea or Arsenal. Sky and all that are bringing up. And I'm thinking, you lot are such a bunch of fucking hypocrites. Because you know, as sports reporters, and no one can deny it, you know full well that Spurs fans singing Yid songs and making Yid chants are not doing it in a blasphemous, anti-Semitic or threatening way, and yet you bring it up every fucking year. And it stopped actually the last season, I think. It actually stopped. They didn't do it. So I'm just blending this with why you're saying we're hated so much. It's become a traditional thing. It's like it was almost traditional and fashionable in London. If you don't sort Spurs, hate them because that's the right thing to do. You know what I mean? That's what it comes across to me. But I'm biased. You know what I mean? So, and I'm proud. No, I'm proud.
That was a nice history lesson too. I liked that. I learned a bit here.
Yeah, the Yid word we had to own to push back on all the people.
Race took it as we called the Arsenal Gooners. They've took it and used it as a form of reverse psychology, and we've done the same with the Y word, the Yid word. You know, so like, and that's what it is. We reversed it. You know,
it's like when someone insults you and you suddenly use the insult as like you own the insult. I don't know how to say it. Yeah,
I mean, West Ham would call us Yids. Now, when they call us Yids, they're doing it as a deliberate insult. When West Ham call us Yids, we were singing, calling them pikey boys and get back to your caravans, right? You know, just banter winding them up. And Chelsea, when Chelsea were doing it, they complained because we were calling them rent boys. They're calling us Yids, and we're calling them rent boys.
And the hissing sounds and all the other stuff they do.
And they're crying to the media. And you think,
if you're going to give, you got to be able to take.
Yeah, thank you. And this, exactly. You're going to give.
Right, guys. Sorry, I've got to go. I've got to.
I was going to say, you guys,
Chris, great to see you.
I have to go. Also, Chris. Hey, I just wanted to say thank you so much for Patreon membership. You're the man. You're the first. I appreciate you more than you know, sir.
Well said, John Fitzpatrick.
No, that's fine, Carl. I enjoy watching you, especially your keeper West Ham. It's quite funny. Me and my wife enjoy that. But,
I'm so glad that somebody likes it.
Yeah, it's been great talking to Adrian and Haz and Cole. It's been really good.
What's your prediction, Chris?
Yeah, let's hear it.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to say 2-2.
Okay. Hey, no, that's
better than Haz's, mate. A lot better. So you can come on my Christmas card list as he struck.
I'm just being honest. That's why I see the game going on.
That's fair enough.
Hey, I hope you're pleasantly surprised tomorrow, Haz.
I hope we don't lose for my sake.
It's all about the midfield.
I'd rather you was deluded rather than honest, mate.
But Chris, thank you so much for being here, mate. Thanks again for the.
Thanks very much.
Hope you have a great rest of your day. See you next time,
catch up soon, guys. Take care. Bye.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
All right, so gentlemen, I do want to. It is about 2 hours in, and I got to run as well. But real quick question, and this is, I know this will turn into a couple of minutes long thing. That's fine. Right now, we have Hugo Lloris at the team. Do you think Hugo or Forster is going to be the backup keeper? Hugo's registered, so
I think Forster. I think it'll be Forster.
What about you, Adrian?
Even now, and this will be controversial, Hugo's a better keeper than Forster.
100%.
So 100%. I don't know what the situation is, unless Ange is thinking long term he's going, so he won't play him because he's going, and whether Forster's staying, I could see that. What I would like to see, look, he's been a fantastic servant for us. I remember that season he saved 3 penalties against Man City in the Champions League, against Leicester, against Vardy, against Alderbiang, and the 1-1 that we drew. I mean, the Vardy and the Alderbiang one, they got us Champions League places. The guy deserves a send-off. If we're at the end of the season, there's nothing at stake. You play him, right?
For sure.
And to be honest, look, even Eric Dyer, all right, I don't want him at the club, but he's been with the club nearly 10 years, right? So even he should be able to say goodbye, right? And if it's the end of the season, we've won a trophy and all that, he'd probably get, and him and Lloris would probably get a hero send off if we win the FA Cup.
The thing with Lloris, though, is that Ange came out and said that even obviously they tried to sell him or whatever. He said that he's always actually help Vicario. I think he said he was saying it. I don't know. I'll have to find the quote. But he's speaking about Lloris, saying he's been really pleasant around the place. You know, he's been helping the new keeper. So even though he wants to go or whatever, he's still been really professional. So I think that's
awesome.
the difference. Unfortunately, with Dyer, I disagree. I don't want him to play again.
Yeah. Well, don't say play, but at least give him a chance to walk it through the stadium and get his send off.
Put his hands behind his back like this.
With Lloris, he may have burnt his bridges because we don't fully. I mean, there's lots of rumours of what happened at Newcastle in the 6-1 when he didn't come out the second half.
Yeah.
And we haven't got the facts. We've heard there's fighting. He's refused to go out or whatever. His head might have just been gone. You know what I mean? So it might have been a simple thing. He's lost it, right? Understandable. Defence was crap, right? And so like he might. If he threw a tantrum in that Newcastle game, I don't blame him, to be honest. I don't blame him.
It was rubbish. Yeah.
I mean, you know, the defending was atrocious, right? So, you know, and it wasn't all down to him. So I'd like to see him get a send-off.
I agree with you.
If he actually gets a game, I don't know. Even Dyer, look, what usually happens, retiring players, when their career's waning, fans always turn on them. They've done it with ex-England heroes, Shearer and all that, and everyone loves him. And then you find they come back to the stadium 2 or 3 years later, and all the love returns for them because it's all forgotten, right? So these are not bad players. Even Dyer is not a bad player. You do not work your way through the lower levels of your academies at 15, 16, 18 and work your way through in Portugal, come to a club, got man-of-the-man matches in centre midfield, defensive midfield, playing for Poch and all that. But, you know, he had a good season the season before last, him and Davis did. I had to admit that. But not consistent enough to hold a place at centre-back, not proactive enough, right? Only reactive. You know, too slow, you know, so he's not good enough for us. Could he do a good job for someone else? Who knows? Probably.
Definitely.
Yeah. But like, Eric, sorry, mate, you're not good enough for us. You're not good enough. So, you know, thank you. Like I will say to all the players, I ain't gonna boo them off like they booed Davis and Sanchez. I think that's disgusting.
I wasn't at the game.
Their best. I just think like, look, thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. Good luck. You know, move on.
Yeah, 100%. I agree completely. I hope they get to say goodbye as well. I mean, shoot, Hugo's been here long enough for a testimonial, right? He's been here
over 10 years, I think. Was it 10 years or over 10 years?
I don't agree with testimonials now, though.
I think Hugo deserves it. As much as I was slating him in the last few years, I don't have anything against him as a person. And like I said, the fact that Ange
this guy deserves one. This is who deserves it, right? Just kidding. I love Ben Davies.
They're millionaires.
I actually really like him.
If they were going to give Messi a testimonial tomorrow, I wouldn't agree with it. Look.
Because the way it used to be to make money for players that careers were over. Right.
Yeah, they weren't they earned more than the working class man, some of them. Maybe some of them had second jobs even back in the day. But like, it was like, give them a bundle of cash because they weren't multi-millionaires. A player signs a contract now, they're a millionaire.
Okay.
They're a millionaire. Right. Sign one contract. They're a millionaire. You know,
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
And like I'm a working class retired bricklayer. You know, so you know, we had 1 year of their wages, we'd all be able to retire.
For sure. No, you're right. I just like seeing them. I like watching the testimonials. I like seeing old players come back, and you know what I mean. And we'd get to see Sandro, and we'd get to see.
Sandro.
It would just be a lot of fun. But I get it. I get what you're saying. I get where you're coming from, Adrian. It makes sense. But yeah, guys, I think it's just about time to end. But real quick, I'm gonna take a phone call. I have a direct line to Postecoglou. I'm gonna phone him up real quick. Ange. Hey, mate. What are we? What's the score going to be tomorrow? What are you thinking? 3-1. I knew it. All right, that's what I've been telling everybody. All right, thank you. Bye, boss. All right, so Postecoglou says we're winning 3-1 tomorrow.
Yeah, 2 from Son, 1 from Kulu.
There you go. He didn't tell me who was going to score, but yeah, 3-1 tomorrow.
My crystal ball here. I just had a look.
Hey, well, thank you. I was going to say we talked to the coach and we've had the crystal ball. I think we'll
nicked
get
it off of
everyone.
Mr. Meg.
I look like
wonder-
I'm in the Matrix
wonder-
or something because of the green light. I don't know.
You do. Like you're about to hack into the mainframe or something. But,
Yeah.
but you guys, real quick.
yeah.
So Adrian and I are saying 3-1.
Mm.
Has you still going with a loss, huh?
Yeah, unfortunately.
We haven't changed your mind yet.
He's making his
No.
first and
What's the
only
difference?
appearance on this chat.
What's the difference going to be for them? Like, what's
Unfortunately,
the difference
so
going to be?
the way
Push them
the
over
game
the line?
going is, I think we'll give them a good game until like it'll be 2-2, and then the 70 to 80 minutes, I think they'll score 2 goals.
Do they have it in them to do that? I mean, I know they did
Like
score late
bang
against
bang.
United.
It'll be like bang bang.
I know they scored
Stop,
late
mate. We
against
never
United.
stop. If there's anyone who's going to get a goal on the 70th and 80th and 85th minute, it's going to be us.
It's us, baby.
Adrian, if we were playing at home, I'd say a different score, but we're playing
fair
away
enough.
at the
I'm
Emirates.
just with
It's
him,
totally
yeah.
different. Yeah.
What podcasts are on tonight? Are you on tonight?
No.
There'll be a lot on tonight, though.
There'll be
yeah.
We're on. There's like tons of them are going to be on tonight. Yeah.
Mari will be on later.
Yeah.
I'll
I think it's
try
an
to
open show.
join
If you
in
want
on
to hop
some
on, I
for
think it's an
sure.
open show. So
Yeah, I'll jump on Mari.
I think it's an open show.
Same. Yeah. I can't get enough of this. I'm addicted. You know, we all are. I think.
And then we won't
But
sleep
guys-
till like 4 a.m. That's what happened last year.
Yeah. So the game. I got to see what time the game's on for me tomorrow. I don't even.
It's 2
know. p.m.
English time. I don't know what time.
Oh, okay. So 6 hours to 1, 12. 11,
America's
12,
normally 5
8,
behind.
8 a.m. for me. So I'm six.
It's not-
I'm 6
it's-
behind.
It's not too bad, I guess.
No, I like the early morning games. I like them even earlier than that if I can help it. But real quick, I just want to go through a couple more of the comments before we leave. Fitzy says he loves Overhays as a football club. I agree, Fitzy. Donna Sievers asks if Germany hates Harry Kane. Definitely not. I think they love him, and they're acting like they've loved him for years. It's kind of weird, but I'm sure they love him. Fitzy though says it's all about who wins the press. I think he's also 100% right. It's going to be a midfield battle tomorrow. And then, oh my gosh, Chris though says, thanks for having me on. Bit nervous, so hope you're okay, bro. You killed it.
You're fine, Chris.
You
You're
You're fine, yeah.
Yeah, you smashed it. Can't wait to have you on again, man. So yeah, guys, Haz thinks we're gonna lose. Thanks, Haz. Adrian says we're gonna win 3-1.
I hope I'm wrong.
Like
Just so you know, I hope I'm wrong.
I hope you're wrong. So you will be. Well, I'll do
I
a
hope
show
I'm in
and
the mud,
invite
as
you
they
on
say.
after
I'm
the
in
match.
the mud on tomorrow evening.
That'll be a good reason to be.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll have a show after the match, so I'll invite you on and we'll talk about the win.
I'll see
After
where
the
I'm at
match,
because I'm
we
going
will
to
be-
someone's to watch the game. And it's gonna be like a lot of us, so I don't know
Oh,
what's gonna happen.
After the match, whatever the result, it's going to be mental anyway.
Oh, yeah.
If we lose,
Oh,
it's gonna
yeah.
be carnage.
But we won't. It's not
If
even
we win,
that.
it's gonna be like crazy. So
Even if
Party
we draw,
everywhere.
the pressure's all on them. Pressure's
Yeah,
all
party-
on them.
I got a nice back area. I can have a party out here if I want. Invite some
Hmm.
not many Spurs fans in these parts, but
Oh.
anyway, you guys,
Yeah.
come on, you Spurs. I'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks for joining, and everybody, thanks for watching. Before I go, I just have to say, I got some Patreon subscribers today. My first ever. Chris Peters. Chris, thank you so much. Thank you so much, man. And then we've also got Wayne Bonner, who's been trying to do it for a while, but I had the wrong link up. So Wayne, thank you also. Big up to both of you guys. If you look at the memberships you subscribe to, you're actually going to get some stuff. I've got some shirts, got some bracelets, and you guys also get a custom nickname. I have to start working on that too. So, guys, be ready for that. And I got another Spurs game show coming up soon. We are working on the intro right now. My wife and I, she's my videographer. So we'll have a new game show soon as well. So stay tuned, everybody. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video. And real quick, Hotspur and Adrian, where do we find you guys?
So Hotspur TV is my channel, so please go and subscribe. And also, if you want to follow me on Twitter, which I use kind of sparingly nowadays, it's at Hotspur92. So it's quite similar. So yeah.
Definitely get on there.
I think I might. I'll have to check, see if I've got.
No, you do follow me, Adrian. I followed you the other
right.
week. Yeah.
Yeah, you can
Sweet.
find me at Adrian_Stroker on Facebook, guys. On Twitter, sorry. There you'll find a link without me to my Spurs Facebook group, which is
Massive.
Thousands of
Spurs
people.
Die Hard
Massive,
Yid
yeah.
Army Space Day Space Yid Army, and I think we just passed 12,100. But we've been going 4 years. You know what I mean? So
Woo.
yeah, so it's
Yeah.
it's just all Spurs content. I don't do podcasts, only guest on them. Right, so, but
Well,
if anyone's
everybody
interested,
get over. If you're on Facebook, check out that group. And like Adrian said, you can find the link on his Twitter. So all easy to find. Everybody, again, I just want to say thank you so much. If you haven't, please subscribe. I think I'm at 252. I'm growing, slowly, surely growing. Thank you guys again. Oh, yeah, every day, baby. And, yeah, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.